toughest environment to be in. Do we know where you at? This ain't the minor leagues. This is the toughest environment to be in. Do we know where you at? This ain't the minor leagues. This is the toughest environment to be in. Do we know where you at? This ain't the minor leagues. This is the toughest environment to be in. Do you know where you at? This is the toughest environment to be in. Do you know where you at? This is the toughest environment to be in. Do you know where you at? This is the toughest environment to be in. Do you know where you at? This is the toughest environment to be in.
Set the stage with the lights off. Let the little nigga breathe till the fight's lost. You ain't never like the room with the bright sauce. Hail Mary, they despise what the light brought. Let them roach niggas bleed if they can't see. Side of the TV, what you can't be. They say that murder on my mind, now they can't breathe. Take a picture of the crew, that's your last peep. Oh, and need me your love, yeah, that's just me. Keep them jumping like some frogs, so they might be leave when the sun sets. And they don't really wanna bleed from the gunplay. And like mine, nigga smoking weed on the one-way street, nigga. Yeah, we see we outside with it. Pull up to debates like we might be with it on God. Side these niggas like bullshit and they fraud. Let me chop them down with the sword. Walk them down like they live hard. This the toughest you gon' be in, we too hard. And you don't really want that smoke, my G. With B-side in a TV. This the toughest environment, the toughest environment, the toughest environment to be in, be in. Toughest environment, the toughest environment, the toughest environment to be in, be in. Toughest environment, the toughest environment, the toughest environment to be in, be in. Toughest environment, the toughest environment, the toughest environment to be in, be in. Toughest environment, the toughest environment, the toughest environment to be in, be in. Toughest environment, the toughest environment, the toughest environment to be in, be in. Keep that off your lip before you get flipped. We got sources over here, we don't just spit. Too many bosses over here, y'all just legit. Put them niggas in the game, let them get real. Don't even step unless you come in with that scholarship. That economic tip, gotta make a dollar flip. And I might be next, I don't give a damn, a truth rolling with me, so I'm feeling like the son of man. Too many gon' hate, gotta make a stand. I'm just trying to duck the lake, you don't understand. Read them when I greet them, that's my best plan. Head first shit, I'm just saying. Nigga meet me in LA, oh you just playing. Too many be fake what the bass saying. So I tell them they don't want no smoke before they end up in the newspaper next day. Smoke, this the toughest environment, the toughest environment, the toughest environment to be in, be in. Toughest environment, the toughest environment, the toughest environment to be in, be in. Toughest environment, the toughest environment, the toughest environment to be in, be in. Toughest environment, the toughest environment, the toughest environment to be in, be in. The toughest environment, the toughest environment, the toughest environment to be in, be in. Toughest environment, the toughest environment, the toughest environment to be in, be in. Toughest environment, the toughest environment, the toughest environment to be in, be in. Toughest environment, the toughest environment, the toughest environment to be in, be in. And this is it right here. Toughest you gon' ever be in. You wasn't conscious before us. Y'all niggas was asleep. We woke the sleeping giant. We did it. Side dinner TV. So stay your ass in your little bitty box where you feel safe. Cause it's motherfucking monsters over here. Real monsters.
Peace and Pan-Africanism. It's your brother Herman Smalls in the toughest environment you can be in.
Yeah. Testing 1, 2. You already know what it is. I'm bringing in the young soldier today. Let the young soldier get some airplay and bring in some knowledge. The young scholar, man. He's a young scholar. Cornard running. Cornard don't want no smoke with nobody. He's looking to get everybody involved except him. The champion Cornard is running, bro. Your champion is running, man. So we're gonna deal with all of this. Your champ is running, man. Without any further ado, I bring on the young brother, Golden Side. What up, man? Talk to us, man.
Yo, what's up, Sa? Me and you got the same name. Well, we pronounce it the same, Sa, like Sa and Sa. What's going on, everybody? My name is Sa. For the people who don't know me, I'm a Christian. I'm not a Muslim, even though I got the chains. I just like the style, the chains. Yeah, but I'm a Christian. I'm a oneness Christian, and yeah, that's pretty much it. I've been studying the Bible for at least like 3 to 4 years. Been studying with the best of the best, looking at people like Sam Shimon, David Wood, Geno Jennings, a lot of people, David K. Bernard, and you just learning and praying to the Holy Ghost so he can help me understand the doctrines better. So, and I'm 20 years old, so that's pretty much it. You on mute, Sanetta.
Yeah, man. Let's talk about some things, man. How did you get started in all of this right here, man? You coming up, you studying this Bible. To me, you are more efficient than a lot of the older Hebrews that I see. So let's talk about this. I respect you a little more because you're young, you got that passion, you fiery, and you know how to do battle when it's time to do battle. You know how to turn it up. So, talk about that. How did you get involved in all of this right here?
Well, first off, I grew up in a Christian household, and my parents and my grandparents are religious, and I'm not saying they like fanatics or anything like that, but like they got morals, and growing up they like was teaching me certain things. Especially my grandpa. My grandpa always tried to get me to watch Geno Jennings on the TV and stuff, and I was like, no, I don't want to watch that. But I guess he planted the seed, and it started to grow, and now I'm watching him. I'm reading the Bible more. But the reason why I started doing all of that is because my best friend, his name Nas, and he was a Jehovah's Witnesses. I got him out of that. Once I started studying, I was having debates with him, and I pulled him out of his doctrine, and he knew more than me at the time when I first started, like way more than me. So him, my best friend, and my cousin, right? My cousin is a Muslim. They would both like have debates with me. I would be talking about the Bible and Islam with my cousin, and with my best friend, I'll be talking about the Jehovah's Witness belief and my belief. So I got both of these dudes in my ear telling me, hey, Sa, you're going to go to hell if you don't accept this. This is the true faith. And then the Muslim, like, my cousin, he like, well, no, if you don't accept Muhammad and say subhanallah, alhamdulillah, Allahu Akbar, and recite the Shahada and everything, you're going to go to hell because you're not accepting God's last prophet. And I'm looking at both of the doctrines. I'm like, I see errors in both of these doctrines, right? And at the time, I wasn't no scholar. I wasn't well studied in the Bible or anything yet. Like, if you was to ask me, hey, Sa, recite John 3:16, I couldn't even recite it. Like, that's how weak I was. But what's going on, Nepal? But
hey, hello.
But my best friend, I used to have debates with him back and forth, and I was like, I know I'm right. Like, he wrong. Like, this Jehovah's Witness belief is not right. And that's what just made me just keep studying. Like I would like like when I had cookouts and when I had stuff like that, parties and stuff, I would go to the Christian pastors and question them, and I would like try to get into a little debate, a minor debate, and I would do the same thing for the imams. Because if I'm going to be inside of religion, I got to make sure it's the right faith, So when I started to grow and study, and I seen that I was elevating past them and they couldn't answer my questions that I had, and I seen that a lot of them had like false doctrines like the Trinity, the Jehovah's Witness belief, The Muslims, when I seen that they have false doctrines, I'm like, yeah, I'm not gonna go into any of those doctrines. But I started to see how the Bible was the truth. Well, I believe it's the truth. And I started my walk with God started to get stronger because at one point in time, I didn't believe in God. I'm gonna be honest. Or let me put it like this. I didn't believe in God, but I believed in Jesus. And you're probably thinking that's weird because how you believe in Jesus but not believe in God when Jesus believed in God? Well, because when I look at God, and if anybody know about the 13 principles of the Jewish faith, God is a omnipotent, omnipresent, omniscient being. I can't see him, I can't physically touch him and stuff. It was outside of my mind, my comprehension, and it just didn't make sense. But to whereas though when I look at Jesus got tired, Jesus got hungry, Jesus prayed, and I see that stuff. I could see that stuff, and I could do what Jesus did. So that's why I was telling people I accept Jesus as a real historical figure, as a real man, but this God, I just can't wrap my head around God. And I'll never be able to wrap my head around God, because the prophet Isaiah tells us in Isaiah chapter 40, verse 28, that God is inscrutable, meaning he's impossible for the human to understand. If you look up the definitions of those words, and that's pretty much how I got into it. Like I started debating with my friends, and it led me to my faith. That's pretty much
How did you feel taking on an elder like Apostle, and why do you believe you won?
All right. First of all, I stand on what the Bible say, number one, and the way how I felt was I didn't feel scared. I actually felt excited because I wanted to show people that I know more than these elders. When he told me he was a Hebrew Israelite, I was like, yes, because these Hebrew Israelites
lie. You was like, yes, I got one.
I got one. And it's gonna be on YouTube. So I'm like,
just tell you, brother, you really beat the elder down, bro. You got him good, brother.
Oh, I beat him in the first round. It was
first round. You killed him. It was a knockout.
Notice how every time I bring up stuff in the Bible, Hebrew Israelites never address it. Like I brought up Romans 9:5. Mind you, we're reading English, by the way. We're reading the Greek scriptures in English. I read him the most interlinear translation where it says that Christ's one act of righteousness, meaning him dying on the cross, was for all mankind. Read him the literal definition of mankind, then asked that man, if I'm wrong, if Jesus only died for Israel, why did the scholars put mankind in the text? He never addressed it. So that's what made me believe I won. Because he didn't even bring up a verse about Jesus on the cross. So I won in the first round. It was over. But they tried to say I lost because I didn't have presentation. And I'm like, oh man, get out of here, man. Like I've been proved my point. Only reason why we was even still debating after the first round is to follow the format. Really, I already proved my point within like the first 5 minutes.
Talk to me about your jewelry, man. I see you got a long whack bar on your neck and you got the star and the crescent. Now, doesn't that contradict the Bible and your belief? Because those are two different gods. Allah and Christ, they are two different gods.
Oh yeah, I'll speak on that. But before I speak, I want to say this. I'll cash up a Muslim $200 right now, and if you could tell me what is Allah's being. I have searched the Quran. Let me get this for you. I searched the Quran, read all the literature, the hadiths. I cannot find.
This brother's a scholar, y'all, for real. That's what I'm talking about.
I'll cash up you $200 if you could tell me what Allah is, not who he is, what he is. For an example, you ask me, Saul, who's the God of the Bible? The God of the Bible is Yahweh. That's his name. Number one, got his name. I can show you where he's omnipotent. I can show you where he's omnipresent, and I can show you where he's all knowing. Then if you say, well, Saul, what is his being? Well, his being is a spirit, John 4:24. Now, and if I say, hey, Muslim, what's Allah's being? Well, Allah is not like anything in existence. Well, if there's nothing outside of existence, and Allah is not like anything in existence, you got to come to the conclusion he don't even exist. The air that I breathe is more real than Allah, And I'm not trying to disrespect the Muslims, because I used to go to the mosque and the masjid and study what they believe in, waking up early in the morning praying. But when I really sat down and read those hadiths, it's contradicting. Also, I can show you Muslims how Allah is the one who killed Muhammad. I can show you even that. But the reason why I wear the chain is because I wanted a piece of jewelry, and this is the only piece of jewelry that my grandma had, and I just started wearing it. I just started wearing it. But
So was your grandma?
I had lost my crosses. I had crosses.
Was your grandma into Islam?
I said, man, I want something to wear on my neck.
Was your grandma into Islam? Do you hear me? You don't hear me?
She was a Christian like me, but the person.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah.
Okay.
She was a Christian, but the person she was messing with was who she was dealing with at the time, a Muslim. Okay. Yeah, he was a Muslim.
All right, we're gonna bring on Nepal, not to have a debate with you, but just to ask some questions as the co-host today, just to ask you some questions, and if y'all get into a little back and forth, it's cool, long as we keep it respectful. That's what it's all about. Nepal Shada does consider herself a Hebrew Israelite. Matter of fact, I'll let her give her own introduction. Nepal Shada, go ahead, you got the floor.
Thanks to you, Sa. It's good to see you again. Yeah, I think I mentioned that I'm not a conventional Hebrew. I have been in the, how do you say, community.
Your mic sounds whack.
Why? What about
mic sounds whack. Okay, say it again, talk.
My mic sounds
yeah, you might have to turn it off and turn it back on. It sounds messed up, choppy.
What about now?
It still sounds the same.
Okay, let me go ahead.
I don't know what you did before. Remember when we was talking about that? What you do before?
I like to unplug it and take my, move around.
Yeah, it sounds messed up. It's like cracking. Yeah, there you go. Ishmael even said it's cracking. Yeah. We don't hear you. We don't hear you. We don't hear you at all. All right, so Sa, come back in for a minute till she get back. All right, Sa, you there? Young brother, you there? All right, Sa is a little messed up too. Come on in, Sa. Where you at? Where you at, Sa?
Hello. My bad. I had to help somebody with something.
Okay. Yes. Now that we know you have studied the Quran, the Bible, have you ever take chance to take a look at Kemetic research?
I try to stay away from that, because that stuff, that's like on a whole nother level. So, because I don't think I'm ready for it right now. I'll be talking to my grandpop about it. Like for example, if I'm not mistaken, you don't want to debate somebody like Pharaoh on stuff like that. Cause it'll get real bad. And I'm gonna be honest, I don't know nothing about none of that. So, but I'm gonna look into it. I just be trying to stick to these like mainstream religions like Buddhism. I know a lot about Buddhism. The Christian belief, Islam. I know how atheists think, so I try to stick with within that. But
let me give you some words of advice, brother. When you start studying Kemet, it's gonna advance your knowledge and information. There's a brother by the name of Zion Lex, and there's our sister, who go by the name of Nepal Shaddah, and then we got Divine Prospect. There's no Hebrew Israelite on the planet that can see them three. Them three right there can smash any Hebrew Israelite, any Christian, any of them. You see Quana in the building. He got a champion that runs from Nepal all the time. She's gone, brother. She run faster than Road Runner. But I'm going to introduce you to a brother. Tomorrow, I'm doing an interview with Smash Rockwell, and he's going to show, the topic is going to be dealing with how the Nubians was all up in Kemet. There was a group called the Magi. And so you
I know about the Nubians a little bit. I know about the Nubians a little bit.
All right. All right.
If I can recall, the Nubians were like the first people in the Middle East, something like that.
Yeah, but listen, just tune in now. Listen, to on the 24th, you see the flyer behind me. You familiar with Christina Nick, are you?
Right. Yeah, I debated her before.
Who won that?
Of course, I won. She's a Trinitarian.
She's a beast now. She's a beast.
Come on, we can set it up. Oneness versus Trinity. We can set it up.
Say that again.
She's a Trinitarian.
Oh man.
So we can set it up. We can set it up.
Oh. Yo, that's what I'm talking about, man. You know what I'm saying? But she's going to be taking on Nepal, dealing with the Kemetic priesthood versus the Leviticus priesthood, the prototype. So you won't be able to deal with
that. Who holds the prototype?
Well, Kemet.
No. I'm talking about.
All right.
Which side are each opponent?
Christina Nick is going to say, she's saying that the Leviticus priesthood don't come out of Kemet. That's what she's saying. Nepal is going to show her that. Let me say this to you now. Of course, you don't know yet because you just studying. But the Torah, the Bible, comes out of Kemet. You don't know that yet. You're about to learn something that's going to take you to a higher level. I'm going to introduce you to a brother by the name of Brother Jabari and let you question him. Matter of fact, I'll let you interview him. You can ask him any question you want. Try to put the Bible up against it. You're going to see. I'll let Jabari answer. This is why Jabari, he's considered the Floyd Mayweather of the conscious community, of the Hebrew Israelites. He knocked out every Hebrew that he faced. You see? That's Brother Jabari. Yeah, he's one of the best. All right. And so we got.
Hey, can you bring up can you bring up my partner Golden SWORDZ?
Oh yeah, Golden SWORDZ in the building. Yeah, peace to you, my brother.
Peace. How's my mic doing? Mic check.
Terrible.
Is it good?
Terrible.
It's bad. Damn, what happened to my microphone?
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we hear you, brother.
Yeah, we hear you, Golden.
Hey, how y'all doing?
Yeah, good, man. Yeah, we doing good, brother.
That's good. Amen.
Oh, Sanetta, Golden deals with Islam too. He better than me with it.
Oh, no wonder Brother Lai scared to hit that link now, man. What's going on? Yeah, Brother Quana, why don't you hit the link? Come in, ask the young brother a question, bro.
Mic check. Still bad.
Yeah, it's still bad, Nepal. I don't know what happened. You gotta turn it off. Turn the mic off, and then turn it back on, probably.
Or just disconnect it and use your computer, maybe. I don't know.
We got Bobby Banger in the building. Bobby Banger. Crazy ass Bobby Banger, y'all. So, yo, Bobby, man, this is not for you. This young brother right here. Yo, Bobby Banger, listen to me. He beating up all Hebrews. He's a Christian. He said that he beat Christina Nick in the debate before. And I kind of believe him because the young brother sharp when it comes to that Bible. But finish talking.
Well, it wasn't like a setup. But Sanetta, real quick, it wasn't. But Sanetta, real quick, it wasn't like a one-on-one. It was more so like on Clubhouse. I came up on the stage and I was having a dialogue and we was going back and forth. And there was things that I was asking her and people like you probably don't know these names, but I'll be Al. Danny Davis, Chris Claus, they got YouTube channels too, but I was asking them certain questions that they couldn't answer. And these are other Christians who debated people like Captain Tazaria. Go ahead, you got it.
Yeah, you can finish telling us about when you seen the apostle and you seen he was a Hebrew Israelite. Your eyes got big. Talk about that.
Oh, all right. When I first met him, we was on the phone, and I was discussing because the BlackJesusMinister told us to discuss a topic, choose a topic to debate on. I wanted to debate him on the deity of Christ, because that's what my specialty. That's what that's what I'm a real scholar at is the deity of Christ. All the doctrines revolving around the deity of Christ, and he was up for it. And then he asked me. He said, "Well, what do you believe about Christ?" I said, "I believe he's the Most High in the flesh." He said, "What scriptures you got for that?" I just quoted one little scripture. I quoted 2 Corinthians 5:19. He read it. He read it for himself. And when he seen that I was right, out of nowhere, he just started yelling at me, over talking me. And I'm like, yo, I don't know what's I think I had a nerve in his spirit. I had a nerve in him. And then he tried to divert to another topic. He had asked me a question about something, about the laws or whatever, and I answered it. And I was like, that's neither here or there, but I want to talk to you about the deity of Christ. And he's like, no. Forget the deity of Christ. Let's deal with salvation and this, that, and the third. And I'm like, all right, we could deal with that. And I'm like, he's gonna lose. He's gonna lose. I'm gonna be honest. I could have beat him. I'm gonna be honest. Golden SWORDZ is the one who gave me that Romans 5:18 argument. He deal with Hebrew Israelites a little more than me, even though like we like this on the same level when it comes to them. But he specifically deal with the salvation. I deal with the deity of God, the nature of God and stuff, the theology part of it. And he gave me that Romans 5:18 argument, and he helped me break that down. And when I use that on Apostle and I see that he wasn't addressing it, I'm like, oh, I won. I know I got him. That's pretty much what's it.
Yo,
and I gotta give my credit to Golden SWORDZ.
Hold me down for a minute.
I got you. How you doing, brother?
What's going on? My name's Saul.
My name, Brother Unc, aka God Killer, Bobby Banger.
All right.
Golden Saw. You said Saw?
Yes, Saw.
What's that piece on your neck, bro?
Oh, it's just a Muslim chain.
Okay, what's the other joint?
Same thing, a crescent moon in Allah's name. But I'm not a Muslim though. I just wear it for jewelry, just for fashion, because I lost my crosses.
Yeah, I wear this for jewelry too, but that means there's a piece of you somewhere in that item, though. Somewhere in that item, is something about that you connect to. So it's something about this I connect to. I like the aspect of the everlasting life, because this is what it stands. It's this life. Life is everlasting. I just like the way it sounds. Like the way it fits. What you got to
Can you hear me now, or is it still bad?
Oh my God.
Is it, what's going on?
You sound like you lost your mind.
Oh wow, what is it, like feedback?
No, it's worse than that.
What?
Killed that.
Let me go out and come back in. Damn, what does it sound like?
It sound like you lost your mind like a plane.
You sound like a robot.
Oh, I'm Borging. Okay, all right, I'm sorry.
Just stop talking.
Yeah, you got to stop talking. Yeah, so you feel me, right? So you're not you're a Christian. What you doing?
Yeah, I'm a Christian. Yeah.
I like the Buddhism part. I like Zen Buddhism.
Why you like Buddhism?
Man, like the Dalai Lama, man, when I run across him on Instagram, it should be kind of slick. He remind me of a couple of dudes that I grew up with in the hood, man, that always had some real slick, wise sayings. They were just slick. Like my cousin, bless the dead, he used to say, rustler to a cow rustler, can I get ill? And I always felt like that was slick. And I knew what he was saying. We just gonna go smoke some weed or take a little drink. Right. But he was basically saying he just rustled up some money and he know I could rustle up some money, and he just was like, yo, can we just partake? It was just the way the Dalai Lama put his information together, man. Real plain, no God, peace, just just expressing itself as a human being. I feel like that's the highest level in thought, man. Understanding being a human being on planet Earth. I think that's real.
You know, Gautama Buddha was the most spiritual within all of the monks that he was around. He was the most spiritual out of all of them.
I don't know, but that's kind of,
you don't think
I don't know about the most spiritual piece, because that's based off what your definition is, but you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't do all that. Matter of fact, I'm the real black atheist. And what's up, man? How you doing, Golden?
Hey, how you doing? I've seen a lot of your work. I've seen a lot of your work on YouTube, man. You real hilarious, But, I got a question. So you are atheist? You don't believe that there is a God?
No, I believe that human beings actually, invented the idea and concept of God based off of the development of the frontal lobe, based off of the evolutionary process that caused us to believe so we can survive in our environment. We real spooky, and that helped us out early on. Yeah, I fuck with science all the way.
You basically saying,
undefeated.
So you're basically saying that we used it as like motivation to keep ourselves going?
No, we use it because we ain't understand shit around us. We was figuring it out. And so, God is default setting. You don't understand something, God gonna help me. But once you understand the situation, you don't gotta rely on that no more. You can move on.
What about
it's just about action, just action.
Well, it's about learning. Nature causes you to learn every step. So when you don't have that next, we don't got that step, you put God in there. It's like a default set. They give you comfort. Fuck it, I don't know. I'm putting it in God's hands. That's how we do it.
God killer. What if I can prove to you that there is a God in the most simplest, uncomplicated form that you have probably ever heard?
Then I know you're trying to push God on me for no reason. You don't even got to, because that's gonna be your personal thing.
But what if he can prove it though?
No, he can only prove it to himself. He can't prove it to me.
True.
That's why it's God. God ain't a God. God is really a personal, a mental thing. It's your thing. That's why you can go to any place on planet Earth and you'll have different variant beliefs, and you can tell who been there. So if you're talking Jesus Christ, you already know the Europeans been there, and they left that trapping right there. So you feel me?
So God killer, at least hear me out, okay? Because you don't have
to yourself. I was talking to the young brother. I can't even see you on camera. At least he ain't try to throw the God at me. You try to throw the God
I'm not trying to throw a religion at you. I'm trying to prove
same thing. God is the key figure in any religion, just for the record.
Okay, all right. God killer. This I want you to know.
You agree to that?
Listen.
I'm saying, do you agree to that though? That the key figure in religion is God. Take God out that religion, you ain't got a religion no more. So you got to say God and religion work hand in hand. But go ahead.
Okay. All right. Now check this out. There's something that exists in the universe. What you want me to call you? God killer or what?
What your spirit tell you.
All right. So
I'm gonna use it on you.
So there's something in the universe.
Just call him Ankh.
All right. So Ankh killer. There's something in the universe. There's something in the universe known as the law of inheritance. Now, what this means is every trait that consists of your makeup, like your eye color, your skin color, your hair texture, everything that makes Ankh killer, he inherited it.
It's not my name. It's not my name.
You said call you whatever my spirit.
Yeah, but don't make up shit. I gave you some choices.
Oh no, you didn't. But anyway, I'll call you God.
Yeah,
all
right. Go
all
ahead.
Right. Cool. The law of inheritance means everything in nature, and this is uniform throughout nature. It applies to trees, animals, insects, you name it. Everything in nature inherited its makeup from that which came before it. Like, place a mirror in front of your face right now. The way you look, the way you look, your skin color, everything about you, you inherited from two parents that came before you. Now, these two parents that existed before you, guess what? They were conscious beings. So guess what? That means you inherited your consciousness from two conscious beings that came before God, killer. You got to agree to that. All right. So take the law of inheritance and apply it to the first man who ever lived. That first man was a conscious being. He had to have inherited his consciousness from somewhere. And the only options that you have are these two that I'm about to tell you. He either inherited his consciousness from a conscious being in accordance with the law of inheritance that came before him, or your only other option is you must say that man has always existed as conscious beings and have been in a infinite loop of sexual reproduction, having no beginning or no end, because the law of inheritance cannot be broken. Now, here's the thing. The law of inheritance only does not apply to one thing in creation that you see, and that's darkness. Darkness does not inherit the trait of darkness from anything, but yet darkness, from out of darkness springs forth everything. So in the book of Romans 1:20, it says you can look into nature and see the nature of God. God is like that darkness that did not inherit its trait from anything, but yet everything emerges from the darkness. So God is that super consciousness, that infinite consciousness that the first man inherited his consciousness from. That's the law. So there's no way out of that.
So you interrupted me in an intelligent conversation with Shah for you to hit some pseudoisms over, swing at me with some pseudoisms. Is you serious? You can't be playing, bro.
No, I'm not playing. I'm very serious. I'm trying to enlighten you.
Hold on, let me finish. Let me get my shot at it.
Yeah, go ahead.
What you did was you mixed truth and falsehood, strangely mixed. You mixed biological things with metaphysical things, and you tried to mix it together with biblical things. You mixed all these things together, and you flip, flap, 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 blam, blam, bloom, right?
I didn't
let me finish. You did. You went into the book of Romans. You did.
Hold on, Golden. Just let him finish.
Let me finish my point. The point I want to make to you is, right, that there is no such thing as the law of inheritance. Because if it was a law, it would have to go through the scientific process, right? That no such thing. There is no law in science, in the body of science, called the law of inheritance. Now, what you spoke of was aspects of Charles Darwin's theory, the theory of natural selection. And you're absolutely right, right? Everything looked like where it came from, all the way back to 4.5 or 4.2 billion years. This point, I agree. But what you're looking at is variations of that thing. And anything you look at is really the same thing, just diversified in different environments. This is called evolution, bro. So you mixed that with that and you made up this pseudo thing. As a matter of fact, if you give me 1 second, I can pretty much realize where you got the law of inheritance from. I think you might have got it from one of them books, like the law of attraction and all that. Yeah, all that pseudoscience. Now, I fuck with the level. The level is science, bro. That's where I'm at. Yeah, science is undefeated. So, yeah, you was probably sounding slick to a lot of people. That's cool. But I'm saying for me, man, I study the foundation. I'm a natural person. And natural people understand the laws of nature through science.
Can I ask you a question?
Study of science.
Now, hold up. I want to test on Nepal, your mic. How's your mic?
I hope it's okay.
Yeah,
it's better. You gotta turn it down. That's the best.
It's loud.
It's
echoing. When you gotta put it on.
Like put it on mute right now while I'm talking, and then you'll be fine. Like as soon as you finish talking, just put it on mute. It's loud, but you ain't got to come up close. Just sit back and go in. All right, say what you want to finish saying, and then I want to get.
What about now? It's not echoing, is it? Sorry, guys.
Oh yeah,
now it's good. Now it's good.
Okay.
All right. So let the young brother go. Ask Unc the question, and then I'm gonna bring Nepal back in. Go ahead, brother.
Right. I just want to refute him real quick.
No,
so
come on, bro. You're not. Come on, man. I want to hear from the young brother.
This just be my last statement. Don't be afraid. This will be my last statement.
No, you.
Can he just make his last statement and then we can just move on?
All right. He said that he believes in biology, but everything in biology falls under the umbrella of the law of inheritance. Everything in a biological world inherits its traits from something that came before it. So the reason why he's trying to run, because he know I got him on this point, and I land my plane right there.
You don't got me on that plane. So do you deal with Charles Darwin? Yes or no?
All right, you gotta let the young brother go because it's gonna be going back and forth.
We're not going back and forth. I just want the young soldier to know that he's talking about Charles Darwin, yet I'm pretty sure he doesn't agree with Charles Darwin based off the things he said. So he actually can't use inheritance, right? When you talk about something being inherited, and we're talking in the biological sense, you're talking about evolution. He's not talking about that. So we can move on to, so you don't got me, you got yourself. We just all got to study up a little bit more. I'm listening to you, Golden. Shy, what's up, brother? How you doing?
I got a question. So if science is undefeated, why do we have scientists that believe in God and say that science can help prove that God's existence, like Albert Einstein, Charles Darwin, and it's a couple other people. What's his name? Francis Bacon, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So if science is undefeated, why do we have some of the greatest scientists that ever lived say that science helped prove this creator's existence?
Because that's just their personal. Yeah, that's just their personal statements. And Charles Darwin was actually kind of like a agnostic at the end of his life. It kind of shook him up when he circumnavigated the globe and kind of figured out his theory. Charles Darwin was at the frontier, meaning he was at a space that nobody was there yet. And he made a prediction. In science, a prediction is the highest level in science. When you make a prediction about something that no one has ever seen before, right, or had ever understood, and that prediction comes right. You talk about Francis Bacon and them. You talk about Albert Einstein. That was their religious beliefs. But when they went into the work, into the science, they didn't bring that into there. So that was their personal opinion, right? That was their personal opinion. And so in science, we never mix the two. This is something, young brother, won't nobody tell you. They'll run that at you to try to throw you off the trail of science, right? But what they won't say is that 50% of the scientists are religious. But then they won't tell you that out of the 50% that's religions, only 2% believe in the supernatural stuff. So for some strange reason, they say, yeah, I'm a Christian, I'm a Muslim, right? But they wouldn't believe in the stuff like Jesus walked on water, or he turned the wine into water and the loaves, the fish and all that. They don't believe none of that. Or rose from the dead. They don't believe none of that. That's the piece they should have told you. But I'm going to tell you, though. So at the end of the day, scientists does not say that you can't have a belief. That it doesn't require you that. It doesn't require humans to do that. What science requires you is to use the scientific method. That's all the requirement is. Simple as that. Use the scientific method. And you can't use God in the scientific method because God is untestable. So your beliefs are not testable. So you can't put them in. So a scientist that goes to church or goes to the mosque, right? When they go into the lab, they leave all of that at the door, bro. That's the truth. And like I said, science is actually undefeated because human beings develop science, okay, to understand the natural world. You can look that up, all right? And human beings develop religion to understand the supernatural world. So like I said, I'm a natural person, so I'm gonna take the setting that helps me understand the natural phenomenon, and that's science. Hope that answers your question, bro.
Yeah, that answered my question. Go ahead,
All right, Nepal, you want to jump in here? Nepal?
If she having mic difficulty, I would like to speak. I just want to say for the record, I don't read Charles Darwin. I don't study Charles Darwin, and I didn't mention anything about Charles Darwin. I just want to say that for the record. And he never debunked what I stated about. All right, he never debunked what I stated about everything inherits its traits from that which came before, and that would even apply to the consciousness of the first man who ever lived. So however you look at it, and no matter what he would have to say, he would be in a dilemma. He would either have to say the first man inherited his consciousness from a conscious being, or he would have to say that there has never been a first man, and that man has forever existed in an infinite cycle of sexual reproduction with females, because consciousness does not emerge from out of nowhere. So he has nowhere to go. Thank you.
Yeah, I agree with you. I predicted that you didn't mess with Charles Darwin. If you go back and listen, I'm like, based off what you're saying, I already know you don't deal with Charles Darwin. And you introduced the biological conversation when you talked about traits, right? And science and in biology, right? We talk about inherited traits. So I was just trying to show you that you was mixing the two ideas together. And I'm saying I get it, because science has a whole different language unto itself, and pseudoscience has a whole different language. So I understand both languages because I was a dedicated pseudo before. My first walk was through pseudoisms.
And okay, I am a dedicated pseudo right now.
I know you is. I know.
I'm proud
anyway,
to
I ain't gonna let you throw my course. My point I want to finish it off is that the level on planet Earth is actually science. So that's the level. I seek the level. So, and it is what it is. Like, it's about steps and understanding, nature. And nature don't let you skip no steps. But from that point, people will come amongst you and will mix and match and try to put it together, but we all know that at the end of the day, that if we talk about the natural world, we ain't talking about nothing spiritual, nothing spooky. We ain't talking about none of that. We ain't trying to figure out what conscious is. People trick you with the whole conscious thing and play the game and then go look it up in a real scientific journal, and it'll let you know what it is and what it's not. So yeah, you gotta, your game is, I'm saying you, but I'm saying I've been that already. I get it. I'm saying? I fought that fight before. I get you. I feel you. You know what I'm saying? But I'm just saying that where I'm at in my development as a human, and I'm proud to be Black type of human, that where I'm at, I found out that the world I live in is natural, right? So I need to understand it through scientific literacy, right? And some financial literacy. And I think that's the winning game for us. Now, your religion, you can do that personal thing. That's cool. But I have decided that the best tools that have defeated us, right, was financing and scientific literacy. We got beat by that. We sure enough didn't get beat by the religion, because we had plenty of that.
Hey, Sonetta, what you over there eating, man? That look good.
Yeah. I'm eating some salmon, man. Some barbecue salmon made by my Jamaican brothers and sisters. Barbecue salmon.
Hey, Sonetta, I got a quick question for you. You have emotions, right?
Huh?
You have emotions, right?
Yeah, but I want to get to Nepal first, because let Nepal get now. She's been trying to get in here. All right, Nepal, let's go.
Okay, you can. I just want to quickly say, I respect Ankh. I know where he's coming from, and he also has one of his other names is the God Killer. So for me, I respect the scientific method to prove the natural world, but I also am very much sure about the supernatural world. So there are other ways that I prove other things, but I do also use science to prove the supernatural, not just pseudoscience. But I just want to throw that out there. Anyway, I'll let the brother go. I'm gonna go get myself my tea, so I'm gonna mute out and listen.
I just wanted to make a quick point.
Y'all explain that pseudoscience to me. Explain that pseudoscience to me.
Can I make this quick point that I'm gonna pass the mic to Saul real quick?
Hey, young brother. I know. Make the point. I want to. Hey, go check this out. I want you to look that term up. I ain't gonna explain that to you. That's gonna unlock something for you. All right. Nah, you go. We want you to go, but I just want to tell the brother. Look up pseudoscience.
Stop for 1 minute, man. This is really the young brother show, so I want him to speak more right now. You know.
Yeah, get that youth. Get that youth.
No, like go ahead, no. The reason why I'm not speaking. The reason I'm not speaking is because I'm listening to the conversation that y'all having, and I'm learning.
That's right.
You know, I'm trying to see where Ankh is. I'm trying to see where Ankh knowledge is at. You know, so every here and there, I'm gonna ask him a question. Like I keep hearing the term. I try to listen for terms too. Y'all keep saying the pseudoscience. I'm not familiar with that. So can y'all explain that to me? That's what I'm saying. Explain that to me. And y'all talking about biological stuff, and I'm not.
That's a good student right there. The young kid is a good student, man.
Well, you know,
he gets to choose. In the building. I want everybody to know that right now. We have another atheist in the building. Also, the devil. He will call himself the demon, the devil. You know, whatever. But we got him in the building.
Come on, man. Stop.
Come on.
Yeah, man. Come on. So pseudoscience, man. Listen, man. Science that pretends to be science is called pseudoscience. So you hear a lot of people say, well, biblical science, that's really pseudoscience. There's no such thing as science in the Bible, right? There's no such thing as that. God don't need science. That's ridiculous, right? Supernatural is the supernatural, all right? Pseudo means false, appears to be a certain way, but actually not. That does not conform to the scientific method. So we call that pseudoscience. And we call people pseudoscientists where they try to make claims like, for instance, the vitamins and the minerals and the chicken bark weed will cure a virus or will cause an immune response. That's pseudo, that's false, that's not real, right? You know what I'm saying? So we follow our ancestors, right? As closely as possible. We stand on their shoulders. And our ancestors gave the world, you know, the earliest form of the scientific method. Our ancestors gave us the rudiments of science. You can go to Nabta-Playa, the oldest astronomical clock, right? You know what I'm saying? Megaliths, right? They was trying to make astronomical alignments. They was looking to the stars, right? They dealt with astronomy. You know what I'm saying? And so I seek to stay as close to my ancestors as possible. And you got to realize that they gave us the lie. And the lie was that we was the most spiritual. And you hear this from Africa to Harlem, to New York City, to Baltimore, Maryland, to California, that black people are the most spiritual. But you never hear them say that they're the most intelligent. And you should ask yourself why. Why have we cleaved to them saying that we the most spiritual, and they never say we the most intelligent? Never say that. I'm here to tell you, brother, that we the first to walk upright, Homo sapiens sapien in Africa, that we're all African apes, right? And the development took 350,000 years in Africa, and we left and mutated around the world. I can safely say, if I wanted to get slick with it, hell, we super niggas. If I really wanted to say that and sound slick. But if we break it down to biological context, what I'm saying is Homo sapiens sapien mutated in different environments, right? This is called natural selection, evolution. So when he was talking about traits, right, he was mixing some Charles Darwin in, and that's how I knew he was mixing and matching and messing it up. He was trying to make it pseudoscience with the traits. No, the traits, we talking about biology. Talk about consciousness, you talking about the brain. There is no consciousness without the human brain.
Oh,
or mammals. There's certain mammals that also have consciousness they're starting to find out. But this is all based off of the biology of the brain. Just to make that point.
Let me jump in real quickly. About pseudoscience really quickly. Yes, it is generally said, oh, fake science. And yes, the word fake, I believe it's Greek. It is pseudo. However, it's really science that doesn't use or I guess isn't governed by the scientific method. And so a lot of people, like I said, I know the paranormal, the supernatural is real. And so do very many other people. You know, there are very many other people who know this, and they know there's science behind it. So you can't just say, you know, I respect what he chooses to use as far as to prove the natural world and what is going on in the natural world. But again, if you know that there is a supernatural world, if you believe and you know, not just believe, if you know and you've witnessed and there's evidence for you about metaphysical things and metaphysical situations and entities and things of such, then you don't just use a scientific method about consciousness. And then I see Lex is on here and he wanted to jump in about so for the young man, for SAHH, pseudoscience doesn't just mean fake science. It really means science that doesn't use the scientific method to come to conclusions. I just want to let the brother know.
Yeah, that's why pseudoscience.
Okay, so and then about consciousness, getting to mainstream science. Yes, okay, about the conventional scientific method. No, there is proof in conventional science that that consciousness exists even when there's not a brain functioning on a high functioning brain or a brain that functions at all. People in persistent vegetative state, they've done MRIs and noticed that even though the brain is not working, so to speak, it's not a working brain, there's still consciousness. So science has proven that. I just want to let you know that. I'm not saying I'm not saying that consciousness doesn't exist in the brain, but consciousness also exists in other ways, not only in the brain. There is a big discussion, a huge, long, ongoing discussion about consciousness existing within matter, consciousness existing, again, now you could call it pseudoscience, consciousness existing in spirit. And I always say this, I don't know who's researched it, but Dr. Hammeroff and Sir Roger Penrose are doing mainstream science on consciousness and how it relates to microtubules in your body. And then finally, and then I handed it over because I was sitting here for a while, so it was all building up. So finally, I did want to say, oh damn, I forgot. Anyway, let me hand it over to Lex, and maybe it'll come back to me. But yeah, that's pretty much. Why are you shaking your head? Oh, one more thing. Also, neurons. If there's neurons in your heart, so you have 3 brains essentially: one in your head, one in your chest, and one in your gut. Anyway, go ahead, Lex, or whoever.
Well, it's just, I mean, it's the level is being understanding, being able to determine, or not determine, but to actually understand the words that people are actually using. And the more you study, you can tell where they're coming from. So I can tell when people is mixing science with religion and spirituality, and it's it's very, very confusing. It just took me a long time to be able to know the difference. And I had to sit around Bobby Hemmett, Phil Valentine, and them, Delbert Blair, hours of conversation with these brothers, to really get what they were saying and how they were saying it. Aline Bay, that was like one of my favorites, right? So I was kind of brought up in that. The whole Egyptian thing, the whole Black Egyptian thing. When I say Black Egyptian, like that there's a certain type of Egyptian thing we have with the crystals and the all kind of stuff, right? And then there's an academic side to it. And then there's a scientific side to it. And for me, you know, I had to realize that, I love winning. And so for me, I had to get the tools that allowed human beings to win. And so I studied civilizations, from European civilizations to African civilizations. And to a man, the ones that always won out was those that was grounded in science. Now, you can have a religion to make you run out there crazy as hell and to unify you. But if you don't got the science to back you, like the Muslims, right? They had the House of Wisdom, right? And they built a great empire, right? And they reached their one and only golden age, and they was winning. When they turned away from science and went straight Quran, they ain't won since. So that's just my point. And, you know, the conversation will get confusing. Pseudoscientists, they love to confuse the conversation. But what I want to tell you, brother, right, at the end of the day, right, where you at is where you at. So we study to get past where we at. We learn about sources. We learn about references. We learn about what exactly is scientific literacy, right? And if you can learn what scientific literacy is, yo, that'll stop you from going through a whole lot of different chambers, bro. Simple as that. So I'm not going to tell you who right, who wrong. As you grow, as we all grow, you'll know the science is undefeated, because I tell you what, ain't no spiritual nothing made this computer you on. That's for damn sure. And all religions need some cars, buses, like think about that. All the religions you can name, they all get in a car and drive to work somewhere, or using cell phones, Apple. You know what I'm saying? That everybody the Dalai Lama, he on Instagram. You should ask yourself that. Why is it that everybody in all religions, they still rely on a hospital? You ain't gonna just stand in the middle of the street when you get shot up. Hope God somebody come get. No, it's gonna be the technology that human beings have developed to save human beings, right? So remember that. That's the statement that science is undefeated. At the end of the day, we all need the accuracy of science to help us live our life.
Okay, but
Yeah, I got a question. Can you real quick, Nepal, can you define your definition of consciousness?
Yeah, it's something. Your consciousness is simply a byproduct of a functioning brain. Certain animals have it. Certain apes have consciousness. Right? It's not just a human thing. That's a mistake. And once you die, that's it. Simple.
All right. So why only certain ones got it and not all?
Well, maybe it's the tools that we have to be able to test it. And science is very flexible. And maybe later on we'll find more animals that have what we call consciousness. You could just look up the general definition of it. It's just being aware.
All animals have consciousness, though. All creation has consciousness. Excuse me.
No, that's not true.
It is true.
So I want to hear you guys discuss why is it true and why it's not true.
Well,
all creation has consciousness. I started to do lessons on the mycelium. Just give me a minute now, Ankh. That is a type of a fungi, and or fungi, whatever you want to call it. And those organisms are conscious. And they're not human. They're not even classified as plants anymore. They have their own classification now. I know you would like that because you're into biology. Mushrooms, I'm talking about, for the most part, in the simplest form. So there's consciousness in fungus. Fungus has consciousness. I'm handing back over to whoever.
Well, we can say anything out of our mouth.
Can I make this one last comment? Can I say this one last
I just want to let you know we can say no. I want you to make all the comments. So basically, us we all adults. I swear, dog, we can say any damn thing out of our mouth.
I can get let me get the facts on it.
That don't mean it's
I hate
true.
to. I don't want to start doing all that, but
I knew you was going to do it. You can't help yourself. You can't help yourself.
You don't think? Wait, are you saying that I can't prove that mycelium has consciousness?
Well, if you give me a scientific article and I read it, I will say, you know what, you was right. But as of right now, at about at about 8:55. I'm gonna let the brother go ahead, brother. This for you. This ain't for the old heads to dive in and sound like old crazy people. We ain't doing that. I want to hear what you saying. How old are you though?
Oh, yeah, I'm unmuted. I just turned 20 2 months ago. About 2 months ago, March.
Man, but that's
March
fun.
15th.
That's good, man. You could be doing something stupid. I appreciate you here. Yeah, I ain't gonna be the old guy. Don't let you rock out. Go ahead and rock, bro. I'm with you.
All right. What's going on, Judah and Lex? I see y'all two on the stage. I just want to say that I think, for an example, I look at consciousness like this. I don't like we're all consciousness. Like I can see Ankh moving, I can see Nepal moving. I heard Golden Swords talk. I can see Judah moving. I feel like if you are a sentient being, you're conscious. So I look at it like everything in the world is conscious, to the plants, to the humans, the animals, bugs. You know, I look at all of it as consciousness.
You're on the right track.
And
I have some glass to break. I'd break it for you. Look at Unc's face. No, seriously.
And I think, but also like when we talk about spiritual things and the spirituality, I think everything ties into it, because at the end of the day, like us as humans, I believe that we have a spirit, because if we didn't have a spirit, we wouldn't even be here on the computer talking.
Yeah.
So
how do you define that? Just curious.
Like my let me think. My immaterial part of me, like the part that you can't physically touch.
Energy.
It's pretty much like energy.
You gotta use words like that with scientific people. You gotta say
energy. Like basically what makes me what makes me me. Like what you see right here is, I think Young Pharaoh said something like this. What you he said,
you're messing up.
He said
you hold on, just for the record, you know you're already wrong if you're using him. Yeah, like if that's
no, but like I thought about this.
Listen, you, Nepal, hold on. Listen to what I'm saying.
Right.
Listen, bro, you need a better reference point than that. And I'm not a hater. I'm a participator. Trust me, yo. Like, I've been through it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm one of them warrior, like a gunnery sergeant that went in every war and just ain't died, been shot up, ain't dead. You like, you gotta listen to that nigga.
True.
Yeah, we young. We got the vibrate. We young, but if you don't listen to him, you're gonna get killed. If you listen to him, you might make it. You might not make it, but you stand a better chance listening to him. I'm saying, dog, I've been through the war, and you can go ahead and get shot up and do all that. At the end of the day, as you grow, because you're very intelligent, you're gonna end up where I'm at. I already know it. You ain't got no choice. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna further your education, right? If you're gonna further, I don't know what type work you do. What you doing?
What do you mean? What type of work?
What you got, a business? What you doing?
I'm a direct care worker. That's what I do right now.
Yo, who? Yo, what?
A care worker, I think he said.
Yeah. I was doing a little bit of catering too. I do that too.
That's good. You like cooking, right?
All right.
It's all right.
Yeah, let me take over. Hey, did Judah speak yet?
No, Judah didn't speak, and Lex didn't speak either.
All right, Lex, you want to say something?
Yeah, peace. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we hear you.
Yeah, peace to everybody. Imani, Habaragani. So I gotta say,
hold up for 1 minute, Lex. Hold up. My brother, Dr. Daniels, put the link inside the chat so we can sign it. Let's get this done today.
Oh yeah, I signed it.
We need 200 signatures, y'all. Let's get it done today. This is for a great cause. Yeah. All right. Go ahead, Lex.
Yeah, you told I'm not an atheist. I am the devil, though, because of the psychology of Western civilization that made the dark continent and dark people synonymous with evil and the devil. So I embrace that. But I can never be an atheist because I'm an African. And Africans gave consciousness to the world. And they had a balance between consciousness and science. You heard Ankh talking about the house of wisdom. and they was winning, but they was Muslims too. So they had a balance. As for the consciousness and the spirit is the same thing. The whole universe is consciousness. Everything. How are we conscious, but yet the bigger, the micro is conscious, but the macro is just dead and stupid. Don't even make no sense. And then we go back to biology. You know, the question I would have for Ankh is biology is made up in a way where it functions in a certain way through DNA. So if he can tell me how DNA came about and what organized that code and programming to produce third dimensional biological organisms, he may have a point. Other than that, it's just ridiculous. You know what I'm saying?
You want me to answer that?
Also, yeah, hold up. I'm just gonna also when we look at the relationship between consciousness and the physical universe, there's a relationship. That's why in quantum physics they have something called the observer, and no quantum physicist can tell you where the observer is. They just know it's there, but they can't pinpoint it. In observation, consciousness affects everything around it. That's why certain observations will affect scientific experiments. Now, the relationship between consciousness and matter had to exist before humans in order for that dynamic to even work. You understand what I'm saying? And so everything is conscious. When people say spirit, you can't live in a dead world around you, and yet you just emerge as the one that's conscious. Now, in terms of the brain, I think there's some ignorance because the brain is the brain processes information just like a central processing unit in a computer. It's just that's all it really does. You understand what I'm saying? And neuroscientists know this. So there's been experiments where they hooked up scanners to the brain of human beings and told them to make decisions. And the decision is registered before the brain even reacts.
True.
So Ankh doesn't know what he's talking about. Consciousness does not emerge from the brain. If I was to remove every brain on Earth, consciousness disappears. That's stupid. Trees are conscious.
That's right.
Plants are conscious. They react to things. They're aware. You know, a plant. Let me tell you this. You have basically 4 colors with your eyes in terms of what you can see. You know, red, blue, green, violet, indigo. You know how they call it? That's how you see things. Plants have 13 color receptors.
Oh man!
And they take in actually more information than the human brain can perceive.
Yeah, because of the photosynthesis.
You know, and viruses are conscious. Fungus is conscious. Let me give you an example. When you take something like malaria, right? Malaria.
But you can't explain to us right now, Lex, because you're going on a whole one. What you putting together for us? Just trying to. I want to stay with
you. You'll get it. Just relax, bro.
You sure? Because you went 1,000
places for a second.
Let the brother finish, brother.
I'm trying to figure out where he's going at. I just want to stay with him because he's gonna go everywhere.
I'm going to let you know that saying that consciousness comes from the brain is silly.
Okay.
Right. So
got you. Silly.
You got jellyfish don't even have a brain. They don't even have a brain, but they're functioning. They react to their environment. You see what I'm saying? And on top of that, so my question for you is, what is the origin of RNA, which they say in science leads to DNA?
Let him finish, huh? You gonna answer it? Don't worry, brother.
You'll be okay. Anytime you want to get this, work like a gentleman too, and tell Cedric to stop running. By the way,
Jude was gonna go, and then Cedric came in, and right, because Jude has been waiting a minute. Peace to you, Cedric. I'm sorry.
Right.
Excuse me.
But hold up, let's finish, y'all. Go ahead.
Right.
Yeah, go
so
ahead.
DNA is intelligence. It cannot. When you look at the complexity of DNA, and I always talk about this, DNA operates just like computer code. It is a code. It is a language It is mathematical. It is to produce biological organism. The same way that someone coded this StreamYard right now. That's what DNA is. So you got to explain how some chemicals like adenosine, cytosine, salts, and sugars all of a sudden emerge as intelligence and arrange themselves in the most complicated code in the universe. That's silly. It's silly. And then so in order to get biology, you got to get a cell, right? When they talk about evolution, they tell you the single cells emerge first out of the waters. The single cell, you can't show me a development of it. It can't, because it can't. Because if it's fully functional, meaning it goes to the bathroom, it breeds, it divides, and the information in a cell has to have the information within it to unfold it in order to create biological mechanisms. And this is what I mean, and I'm gonna end it on laying my plane here. If you go to court, you know how you have people talking and you have a translator on the side that may be interpreting someone that doesn't speak English? That's how a cell works in transcription through ribosomes, meaning that in order for a cell to function and create a biological organism, to make organisms work, to unfold, it has to have the translator within the code in order to unfold the information to even begin to create that. You cannot develop that. That's like saying, you develop part of your hand without the fingers. You develop part of your heart develop. The heart can't develop because it won't function. It has to be fully functional. So consciousness doesn't come from the brain. That's silly, because we can register decisions being made before there's even reactions in the brain. 2, you can't explain the origins of DNA without intelligence. And 4, you can't explain the relationship between consciousness and material. If they didn't have a relationship in the beginning, how did they form a relationship now 1,000,000 years later?
Do you know where you at?
And
this is the toughest environment to be in.
And this is the last thing I want to say. Right now, I'm just a group of atoms talking to another group of atoms. Cells are made out of atoms. Atoms, right now, we're just atoms talking to other atoms. Now, fathom that. And that's something that Albert Einstein said. So atoms are conscious.
Damn.
So, and basically,
do we know where you at? This ain't the minor leagues. This is the toughest environment to be in.
Who's that?
You provide a source that says jellyfish are conscious.
I know.
A source that says jellyfish are conscious. This is what I'm and let me just add this one thing.
So I can say it just like you.
Please.
Jellyfish are not conscious.
This is my last thing I want to add. This is the concept in Africa that we call Yorugu. And that's what atheists have become. They are Negropeans, because without consciousness, that's why we have white supremacy. That's why we have people that will kill people. That's why we have people that are greedy. That's why we have people that are in this world that will let other people starve because they lack consciousness. We call that Yorugu in the Dogon tradition. And our ancestors warned us about becoming Cedrics and Ankh. With all due respect to them, they are no longer Africans. They are westernized Europeans in black bodies. And I love these brothers, but they got to wake up. Without consciousness, you are no longer an African. Without spirit, our ancestors was not pseudo. They wasn't just, waking up, we just think, because we can't explain something. No, the Egyptians, while at the height of their spirituality, built the pyramids. And it was their spirituality that gave them the knowledge of the technology.
So how the hell they lose then?
So go ahead. Everybody loses.
So I was listening to this conversation.
Why did America lose the Vietnam War?
Hold on, we gonna go down the line. We got Judah Naz. He's next. Hey, first of all, let me say to the young brother, this is a good conversation you need to listen to. I'm glad you're here. We're gonna have to do another show where it's just gonna be y'all two. Because this conversation here may be going a little over your head, or you're going to be able to do a little research and study. It's going to be good for you in the long run.
No, I comprehend everything that they're saying.
Good.
I comprehend everything they're saying.
Always remember, you can always stop anyone that's talking. I'm giving you that permission to ask the question. If you don't understand it, ask the question. You got that right.
I want that permission too. My name's in the title. I'm just kidding.
Go ahead, brother Judah. You got the floor.
Thank you, Son Netter. Peace to everybody on the panel, and especially Sister Nepal. Shout out to Brother Lex. Lex is actually, he's right. He's not going to give me my credit, because remember, it started in Torah Nights first. We the ones came with that psychology. Give us our flowers. We started that.
I was there too, Judah. Don't leave me out.
Stop.
Yes, Nepal was there. Nepal was there too.
But Lex was there too.
No, because I beat Lex. Lex was arguing with an atheist, and it took him 15 years to beat this dude. I came in one time and was like, brother, did you go to college? He was like, yes. I'm like,
hey, Judah, be careful. Don't let the young brother know you're a Hebrew. I'm trying not to let him know that. So
it don't matter. I'm trying to listen to what he's saying.
Okay, so go in about the psychology.
All right, so is Ankh still here? Because I think he left.
You know, when Ankh see the vortex coming, he take off for the atheist hills.
Oh well, I'm gonna give a thanks, Lex, for bringing up. You mostly dealt with like biology or whatever, but we deal with like psychology. And let me show you something just real quick, y'all, because people keep trying to say religion, but it's like Guru said from Gangstar. Spirituality supports reality. Right? Remember my little brother Devion came on and he debated the cube. He was like, yo, outside the cube, he was like, yo, what's the source? His name. He was like, what's the source of the spirit? Now, real quick, if any out there, so anyone try to say, oh, y'all religious people don't deal with science. Well, we deal with noetics, which is the Torah is noetics. It's dealing with psychology, whatever, right? So we deal with like science. We're not religious because we understand that the spirit, not the brain, but the function of the brain, the spirit, scientists, they're still trying to figure it out, like, you know, like, because they know, like the Sister Nepal said, you know what I'm saying? Now let me back up to I'm not gonna deal with that. But Unc definitely needs to read up and hold on real quick. I'm not gonna be long-winded. Cocaine and the wood grain. Y'all toss words around like pseudo so much. It's kind of like, bro, you got to get your read on. Everybody's not a knuckle dragger. Some of us actually buy books. While you buy Reggie, we buy books, right? And we deal with science. That's why you don't see us coming over here being like, oh, well, you know, I can't prove God exists. Wait a minute. We're going to go straight to science, straight to psychology and beat you up. And if you're not schooled on psychology, you can't bang with the Torah Knights. But I didn't want to be long-winded, Joe, but I just wanted to say that.
All right, Cedric, go ahead, brother.
Peace to the panel. Peace, Sister Nepal. Peace, Judah. Peace, Lex. Pseudo killers on deck, and we do this.
It's been a long time since you ran that last time I seen you, man. You should get into the Olympics, brother.
I'll be tracking you down. Let me build. I was quiet. Let me build.
Go ahead, brother. No, I'm just poking at you. Go ahead, bro.
I know. Let's start at the beginning. Let's start with the philosophy and the foundation of what science stands on. It's called methodological naturalism. And it states clearly that science makes no claim for or against a God, spirit, or anything in the supernatural. Why? Because the supernatural is not testable and we can't quantify it. So science makes no claim for or against a God. So anybody claiming to prove God or any spiritual entities by means of science has lost the conversation off the bat. That's number one. Number two, there are two things that I'm seeing being conflated. Awareness. All sentient beings are awareness. It allows all sentient beings to interact with their environment. What you need is a neural network, not necessarily a brain. When we talk about emergent property of self-awareness, it's in the higher consciousness of the developed species. So human beings, primates, and elephants are all known to be self-aware. Dolphins also, right? These are some of the animals, including the human animal, that have a certain level of self-awareness based on the size of our neural network, including our brain. So what says science? Self-awareness is an emergent property of physical matter. We have no evidence whatsoever of consciousness and an aware agent outside of a physical being. What we see here is conjecture being used, shoehorn fallacies, and post hoc rationalization to equate natural phenomena to this thing they call a God. See, Brother Lex mentioned the double slit experiment. Now, it is surprising that every time that we expect the observer effect to take place, that it takes place. That means God only is aware or gets involved when we expect him to. Now, if there was an all-knowing, all-aware God, we would get the same interference every time. However, when we use instrumentarium to observe, to measure, that is what causes the wave function to collapse. So it's our interference which causes the wave function to collapse. And
what
that
is interfering?
And that experiment only taught us the dual nature of photons. They function both as a wave and a particle. That was the only conclusion that could have been drawn from said experiment. So now when we talk about consciousness being in everything in the form of self-awareness, you would then perceive that the dirt, minerals, and rocks on this planet would have some level of awareness, which they obviously don't. They just are. So awareness, self-awareness is an emergent property of physical matter. It's like blocks. Until you make the wall, the blocks are not a wall, but a wall is made out of blocks. It's an emergent property. How do we know this? Affect the brain, then you affect your identity and all that has been accumulated to form your personality, your identity. The moment we cease to exist, our partaking of this reality also ceases. There is no evidence that any sort of part of the human existence continues to exist outside of living matter. So again, these are all claims that are made without any supporting evidence, and we cannot use science to establish supernatural activities because science simply doesn't engage with such. Lastly, when Lex comes on and asks about abiogenesis, Lex is fully aware that we don't have a full theory, which is a hypothesis, experiments, and predictions with regards to abiogenesis. There is still not enough information, or we don't have the answers. We do not have a full theory on abiogenesis. Now, if we go into particular
you don't have no theory, really.
We don't. I just said that. A theory would be a comprehensive.
That's why.
A theory would be a comprehensive story of all the hypotheses, the experiments, and the predictions with regards to abiogenesis. So this science is still being worked on. We do not have a theory. We have hypotheses, we have experiments, but we do not have a theory. And anyone claiming to know or have a comprehensive theory is at this point lying. So to talk about abiogenesis as if we have any conclusive information on is disingenuous. To conflate abiogenesis with
I never brought up
theory, cosmology, and evolution, right, which eventually led to higher organisms and their consciousness, is a disingenuous conversation. In the arena of abiogenesis, there is no talk of consciousness. It is the primary state of forming the initial cells. Now,
since it's that brother show Golden Saw, I want to ask him for permission.
Last point, and I'm done.
I just want to say, I want to ask Golden Saw for permission.
Come on, man.
Last point, Lex. My turn.
He's parking
last
right
point. There. With regards to DNA, right, is a code which produces molecules. Depending on the molecule that it's going to produce, the strand of the necessary DNA is either longer or shorter. What DNA does is simply produces molecules which are proteins, right? And these proteins are synthesized and used throughout the body. There is no conscious activity taking place. These are biochemical reactions. There is no conscious activity. That is assuming there's a conscious activity when I add heat to water and it vaporizes or it boils, that is a conscious process. No, it's a chemical reaction which is confined within the laws of physics. And with that, I land my point.
All right. Let me just ask the brother real quick.
No.
If that's the case, you let me talk.
It's very important.
If that was the case, I could talk. I want to be quiet.
See, Art's always scared for me to talk.
I'm not, bro, but you already talked. My computer crashed out.
But
so you wouldn't keep talking
to some things I said.
But if that's the case, I was supposed to continue. If that's the case,
but you wasn't here.
Lex, I gotta go around first because it's gonna be going back and forth.
Right.
And
I want to hit a young brother.
Let me get Fontaine in the building.
Beat you up anytime, Lex. I've been beating you up for 10 years, bro. It's good.
All right, come on. Let me get this brother right here. And then you, and then we're going to see if the young brother want to speak. And then Nepal, we coming back to Lex.
Good job, Cedric. Pseudo kill official, bro.
Cedric is a deep brother. I didn't know Cedric was deep like that, man. God damn, Cedric is
pseudo kill official, bro. What's wrong with you? You know what it is.
Killer, man.
Right. You know what it is.
Fontaine, go ahead, man.
I mean, I really don't got a follow up, Cedric.
How you pronounce your name again, brother?
Fontaine.
All right, I got it.
You know, I'm from the South. We don't say fire. We say fire.
Yeah, but you definitely fire, bro. All day.
Yeah. So shout out Cedric. Shout out you know what I'm saying? Salute the side. I'm just gonna come and say real quick. All the pseudos do the same thing. The young brother was asking, what is pseudoscience? What you're seeing in front of you is pseudoscience. When people make a bunch of claims and have no source to back it up, if you go research many of the claims they just said, all you have to do is type it in. Do jellyfish have consciousness? It's going to say no because they don't have a brain. But they'll tell you, yes, they do, with no information to back it up. So all I want to say to the young brother is don't let people just tell you stuff. Go research it yourself, not with the biasness that you already have. Go research it to actually learn the information you're reading and understand it. And listen to people like Unc and Cedric. Don't listen to these pseudos. Even though I rock with Judah Naz because he ain't a fool, but he's pseudo too with that Bible stuff. That's all I'm gonna say.
Can I bring some information in since he's saying we don't offer any proof? It's just that you have cognitive dissonance because that's your religion. So you block out proof when it's presented. But let me present something just talking about consciousness existing in brains that aren't functioning. That's science, right? Is that
next,
okay for you? No?
Next.
Yo, hold on. Let her finish, yo.
No, I wanted to hear. Is that okay?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, but that wouldn't be something I disagree with.
No, I know. I'm not saying you particularly, Cedric, but the brother came in and saying, telling you, let the young man decide what he wants to decide. Like, don't tell him don't listen to anybody. Let him get the information.
Just to stay in the pie, I mean, cut you off. I ain't telling you not to listen.
Come on.
Brother, it's not personal, but you did just say don't listen to them, just listen to Unc and Cedric. But it's okay. No.
I think what he's saying is don't listen to no BS.
I'm not in my feelings. It was just a statement, everybody. Let me just get this now. When I present this information, because this is just one piece of information, I'm going to put money on it that they're going to find a way to take it apart. Why? Because it goes against their religion. So let me go ahead and get it.
What's our religion? I just want to write it down.
No, you know what I'm saying. It goes against your cognitive dissonance.
That's my religion?
Cognitive dissonance. Let me say that, okay?
Oh, that's okay. You lucky I'm voting for you for the debate, man. You keep messing up.
It's not even just you individually.
I'm going to switch up on you.
What does Malcolm X say?
What did he say?
If you take a rock and throw it in the crowd,
no, we say hit Doug holler.
Okay.
I'm the hit Doug. All right.
Now watch this, y'all. When I throw this in, it's gonna be like chum in the water. They're gonna come at it like sharks.
Okay.
Okay. So breakthrough research shows consciousness. Breakthrough research shows consciousness in PVS patients. PVS is someone who has brain damage to the point where they don't have the higher functioning of their brain. Okay, so permanent vegetative state. Okay, so using advanced medical technology, researchers in Great Britain have found that a patient diagnosed to be in a so-called persistent vegetative state has brain activity indistinguishable from that of a healthy volunteer. So people with high functioning brains are pretty much you can't distinguish whose brain is what, because they're both functioning the same. How can that be? How can that possibly be? Because the brain is damaged. The whole brain is damaged. It's not supposed to be working, but it does work. Why? Because this is scientific proof that consciousness exists. The report appeared, yes, this is an older article, but it's solid. The report appeared in September 8th, 2006, issues of Science magazine, a scholarly journal. Okay, let's get down to the research. 5 months after the accident, they're talking about this woman. Let me go back because it's a long article, but I'm giving you the gist of it. Okay, this is extremely important, said Stevens Lories, a neurologist, not a pseudoscience, my brother Faitane, a neurologist at the University of Leeds and co-author of the study, quote, "It's the difference between life and death. From cases in the UK and the US, we know that end-of-life decisions are, of course, extremely important, and this will definitely change the way we deal with these patients." Why are they saying this? Because people are unplugged, because people are making the mistake thinking because their brains aren't working that they're not conscious and they don't have consciousness and that they don't have quality of life. So this is why these studies are very important. When you have signs of consciousness, you cannot decide to stop hydration and nutrition, okay? The authors were a group of medical researchers headed by Dr. Adrian Owen, based in Cambridge, United Kingdom, and Liège, Belgium. They reported on their use of functional magnetic resonance imaging. So let me give you the gist of what happened. They took this woman and she had persistent vegetative state. Her brain was damaged. It was gone. It was done. It wasn't functioning. She didn't have a high functioning level of what people mainstream say consciousness. That's what it was thought. But what they did is they did, let me get it. Okay. They did some research right here. It says, furthermore, okay, speech-specific activities were observed. So this is the scientific method that was used, right, guys? Equivalent to that observed in healthy volunteers listening to the same stimuli. So they did the same stimuli on her that they would do with someone with a healthy brain. The authors reported in Science, okay, furthermore, sentences that contained ambiguous words produced an additional significant response in a left inferior frontal region, similar to that observed for normal volunteers. In later trials, the patient was instructed to imagine herself, that's consciousness, imagine herself playing tennis, and thereafter to imagine moving from room to room in her house. She couldn't actually physically get up and do it, but she could do it with her mind. The same was done for 12 healthy volunteers. The intent was to be sure that the patient was aware that her brain was not merely that it wasn't merely responding automatically. So it was a very intricate, detailed experiment. The team, I'm going to wrap this up, but I'm showing you, this is scientific proof. The team wanted to see whether the appropriate areas of her brain would, quote, fire up when they spoke to the patient, and they did. During the periods that she was asked to imagine playing tennis, significant activity was observed in the supplementary motor area. In contrast, when she was asked to imagine walking through her home, significant activity was observed in 3 other distinct areas. Her neural responses were indistinguishable from those observed in healthy volunteers performing the same imagery task in the scanner. So what does this mean? What does that mean? Go ahead, y'all. I know y'all want to eat it up, but what does exactly mean? It means that There was no brain in science. Hold on. I'm going to land my plane. We're talking about mainstream science still. When you have permanent vegetative state, I keep saying permanent, but it's persistent. When you have, because it is permanent, you know what I'm saying? It's persistent. When you're a persistent vegetative state, your brain isn't working. You have no higher level of consciousness in mainstream science, no functioning that's high level, you know, like critical thinking, imagination. Well, technically science says you're brain dead. So brain dead, meaning no brain, basically, brain dead people in science have been proven to be able to have consciousness, use imagination. The parts of their brain with the motor functioning parts of their brain are firing when they're told to do certain tasks, like go walk through your house, go play tennis. It's actually firing. They can't even tell the difference between someone with a healthy brain and someone with who's brain dead. So I'm gonna hand it back over to you guys who say that science doesn't prove what we pseudos are saying, but science does.
Can I say something? Can I say something real quick?
Oh, I think it's me. I think it's
no,
me.
it's definitely not you.
The young brother want to ask the question. Go ahead, brother.
Based off what Nepal's saying, I feel like it would be more in Cedric's favor. Like it don't make sense because wouldn't you be, you know what, I'm gonna just keep listening. Go ahead, y'all got it. Go ahead. I'm gonna keep listening.
Hold on, Nepal.
Hold on. Say what you want to say, brother.
I was gonna respond to him, but go ahead.
You don't gotta respond.
Well, he said what I said.
No, hold on for a minute.
Let me run the show. I'll run it, man. Go ahead, young brother.
I see what you're saying, Paul, but then also at the same time, I see what Cedric and Ankh is saying at the same time, and they would be correct because it's like you're not animated, like you're an inanimated being, like you just basically just nothing. You just if you just like a vegetable just sitting there, could I really say that you conscious? Like it'll be like you ain't showing no sign of life.
Okay, can I say this to you? So if someone, most high forbid, someone wraps you up, binds you up, gags you, and you just laying there, somebody should just pull the plug on you or kill you. Just because that person can't get up and move, the science is showing right there, young man. And I mean this with all respect because you're so intelligent. I'm so glad you're part of this forum. But young man, you need to first find out what the science means about brain damage and persistent vegetative state, because it doesn't matter if the person can't actually get up and play tennis. What we're discussing is, does consciousness exist without a brain? Can consciousness exist without a functioning brain? Can consciousness exist? Because I know they want to come in and do the dance and do the whole break dance on it. That article proves that consciousness can exist without a functioning brain. Because if you're a scientist, if you're talking about we only look at the natural world, we do scientific method, scientific observation, then you cannot come in and say, well, technically that brain works. No, because scientifically, that brain isn't working. Scientifically, that brain isn't even there. That brain is worthless. Scientifically, when the brain is in a persistent vegetative state, it has no consciousness. Scientifically, with people like our brother Cedric and our brother Ankh, that is what is said. That is why they're doing more research, because they're saying we don't want to pull the plug on people who actually have consciousness, who actually can imagine. And I'm going to hand this over too. I'll get some more science from my brother Faitain too. And because you said pseudo, we're going to talk about consciousness existing in the heart, and then we'll go to the gut. Because guess what? There are neurons. I know you don't want to hear this, Ankh. There are neurons in the heart, present in the heart. That's what it is. There are neurons present in the heart. Now, you guys go ahead and discuss.
Right. I'm 50-50 on it. I'm 50-50 on it.
All right. You got the floor, brother.
I'm in the middle.
Go ahead,
Yeah, thank you, Quinath. I was just, it's just debating trash talk earlier. I wasn't trying to be disrespectful.
I'm not fighting to try to convince nobody or nothing. But this is a great example of how pseudoscience occurs. Nepal, I don't know why you read that. The conversation was talking about consciousness has everything to do with a functioning or non-functioning brain. We never made the distinction, but it has to be a brain. Simple as that. And we talked about different species, mammals that have consciousness, like dolphins and other things. Now they realize that monkeys and some. But we never. You said modern science, but yet you claim to have read an article from Modern Science. So
I subscribe to modern science.
You gotta let me finish.
No, but I'm for modern science. Don't make it like I'm not against modern science.
Hey, Nepal, you cannot cut him off. You're gonna be able to see that. You gotta let
you said science claims this and science claims that. Then you read an article that you said, first of all, we don't know where that came from. We don't know what you just read something. I don't know what it was about, how it fit in the conversation. I didn't get it. So maybe you just over my head, which is fine. All I'm trying to tell you is when we're trying to distinguish high-level conversation like this, we need a credible source talking about what we're talking about. We could just read anything. It just didn't match up. You was talking about people who had brain damage. I never said a person with brain damage wasn't conscious. I never mentioned that. So I was wondering, well, why would you read a whole article on that? Like,
it's not just brain damage, it's a dead brain.
Okay, but it's still a brain.
Brain that doesn't work.
But it must be working enough to get some consciousness out of it.
No, that's why you didn't understand the article respectfully. No, it didn't work. The brain doesn't work. That's why it's a cutting. That's why it's breakthrough. The article's breakthrough, and I can get you the actual.
So wait a minute. Hold on for a minute. Hold on. I'm gonna let you go. So if it's a breakthrough, it still doesn't prove your point that everything has consciousness. What you've proved is that when your brain get brain damaged, heavy thing, then you still have a level of consciousness in that particular brain.
No,
how do you apply? Wait, Nepal, let me finish. How are you trying to apply that to what we're talking about?
Okay, let me help you out.
Now let's let you go. I'm good. I don't even know.
I want to say something real quick before we move on. I want to say something real quick. I think Aunt got a point because. Yeah, I know. Because if I got a dead brain and I'm just sitting on a machine, and without that machine I can't live, I gotta come to the conclusion that person not sentient. He don't got no consciousness. He's relying on something for consciousness.
Okay, can I speak without you?
It just don't make sense.
Listen, this is the problem. You said you didn't even know what consciousness was an hour ago, and I'm trying to help you.
I never said that.
Okay, well, let me just get this out, okay? They were talking about us being pseudos. That is a very well-known, people who study consciousness for years, like me, and I'm sure Lex as well. That study is it's a well-known study, but I digress as far as it being credible. Now, you're coming from an angle saying, if someone can't move, what's the point? You're talking on a philosophical level, actually. You're like, what's their quality of life? It's not just about a brain damage. For people who actually know about the anatomy of the brain and know the scientific terms for what persistent vegetative state means, that means the brain is dead and useless. That means there is no brain. See, this is the thing. When you have people say consciousness only exists in the brain, I assume that they're intelligent, and I'm not being disrespectful. I assume when you say consciousness only exists in the brain, you do mean a functioning brain. I don't think you just mean like a brain that's laying there like a salami sausage. I'm assuming that when you say you're scientific and you say, oh, consciousness only exists in a brain, I assume that you're talking about a brain that has neurological function that can work with higher consciousness, like with higher cognitive function. Okay, I assume that. So when I show you an article that says, and I'll read that, Sonetter, when I show you an article that says that a brain is technically brain dead, that means there's really no brain present. Do you get what I'm saying? There's no brain with high cognitive function. What is PVS? I guess
that's
yeah, that's what you just said.
Yeah, persistent vegetative state.
And it says it. It says, look, patients are unresponsive to external stimuli, and their conditions are associated with different levels of consciousness. See, no one denies that.
Yeah, this is because of the study.
Some level of consciousness means.
Let him
what do you mean, Nepal?
Some level of consciousness means a person can still respond in varying degrees to stimulation. It says a person in a coma, however, cannot. In addition, PVS patients often open their eyes in response to feeding, which has been done by others. They are capable of swallowing, whereas patients in a coma subsist with their eyes closed.
Right.
So come on now.
Right. No, come on. This shows me that you do not know what persistent vegetative state is. And
it's right here. It's
no,
right
no,
here,
because you have to go to it. Listen, I know extensively what it means. It means complete brain damage without higher cognitive.
Right. No, it's not.
I was talking. Wait, hold on. I need to say this clearly. It means complete brain damage without higher cognitive function. And when you see in there when it's talking about the breakthroughs, you're in Wikipedia. So the article in the study that I pulled up is actually feeding into the information of Wikipedia. Now there's information that there's higher cognitive function. Now there's information that there is consciousness. Why? Because of the study. Now, I will go back to the study. While you look at that, I will go back to the study and give you all the information for people who really want to know. This isn't about being right. This is about the facts, right? This is about the facts. Am I right about that? You asked for it.
You're absolutely right.
Absolutely right. So when you're somebody who knows about the neurology, when you're somebody who doesn't just, Google it, and I'm not hurt. I don't want to. This is my lane, Unc. This is my lane right here.
I can't tell.
Persistent vegetative state means brain dead. You mean when they can? You're saying swallow, and it means they cannot use it. They cannot use
with the lights off. Let the little nigga breathe to the fight.
We're conflating two things. Vegetative state, and brain.
Roach niggas bleed if they can't see. Side of the TV, what you can't be. They say that murder on my mind, now they can't breathe. Take a picture of the crew, that's your last peep. Oh, I need me your love, yeah, that's just me. Keep them jumping like some frogs, so they might.
All right, we moving on. We moving on. We're moving on
because I was cutting with this.
Hold up. Keith, what's up, brother? I need you to add on, brother. Let's get that, Keith.
Hey, what's up, Cy? What's up, Unc? I'm here again, brother.
I know you
going back and forth, brother. I got to stop sometime.
Yeah. That was a hard song.
I think, Unc, you and Cedric are being disingenuous, right? Because when you guys talk about evolution, natural selection, as far as the scientific community is concerned, but what you guys are not stating when once you mention nature, you are in the same predicament as the Bible believers who believe in God when they talk about the creation, which means they saying that hold on for a minute, They saying that there is a creative force behind creation. So once you mention nature, which is the natural world, there must be a force behind nature, which the scientific community talks about. And there are 4 fundamental forces behind nature. Please tell us what that is.
Strong and weak nuclear forces, gravity, and
electromagnetism. That is correct.
Hold on. No more. I'm done with answer your question.
Pull up your own fallacy, Unc.
Yeah, that's a hold on. I'm gonna pull it up. Go ahead, brother. My fault. Go ahead.
Keith is speaking. Go ahead, Keith.
One thing I said, you guys are disingenuous because you guys don't know, right? Because that force you're talking about is invisible. It's not natural. And this is what the Bible believers are talking about. They're talking about an invisible force. And scientists and science prove that when they're talking about natural selection. It's talking about an invisible force, which you guys just said, gravity, electromagnetism, the nuclear strong force, and the nuclear weak force. But in the scientific world, they are still searching for the proof, and they have not found it. Because the science must agree with the mathematics. It must. That's why they're looking for gut, the grand unified theory, which is the theory of everything. They haven't found it. They can't prove it. Just like the Bible believers can't prove the existence of God. Y'all in the same predicament.
I'm confused,
Come on,
man. You confuse me. You say so.
I don't know.
Natural selection has something to do with what? I'm confused.
Once you mention nature, nature must point us to the force behind it. So that's why, hey, bro, nature doesn't. No, nature doesn't come of itself. See,
okay,
there is an invisible. No, says the scientific community, because you just stated the 4 fundamental forces of nature. You just did it,
man. I don't know what you done. Let Judah go there. I don't know what you're talking about. You got me, bro. You won today. You can have it.
I'm not saying it,
brother. I don't understand. Remember, you got a theory that don't nobody know but you on planet Earth. Don't forget that. Let everybody know what you know that don't nobody know. You got a theory that don't nobody know on planet. Can you explain it? I'd rather hear you talk about something. You're the only person that know it. Go ahead, bro.
You very rude, brother. See, because yes, you're being rude. See, because once I said that tells you that you don't understand. See, because if you don't have that grand unified theorem, you don't understand. All you're doing is regurgitating somebody else's information.
I agree. I'm not.
That's all you're doing.
I'm not
exactly.
I agree.
Exactly. You're not.
So what are you talking about then?
I'm
neither. But you're telling something the scientists don't know.
Yes.
Right. See.
Yes, I'm claiming that.
Thank you.
I'm claiming that. Yes, and I have the mathematics to prove it.
But you don't.
Just as I'm
Earth with it. See the difference? None of these things you're claiming. So I can actually be wrong.
Not once did I say nobody else have it. You said that you don't have it, and I'm fine with that. But you can't tell me I don't have it because you don't know.
I wouldn't even know how you got it past the scientific community.
Exactly.
The mathematical
because because you and Cedric thinks that the math doesn't work. They just don't know how to work the math. I do.
Okay.
That's what I'm telling you.
And Einstein didn't know. You wilding.
Yes. Okay, whatever.
We got
but the point I was
on this show.
Hey, the only point I was making is that you are in the same predicament of not knowing. You preach scientific literacy. You talk about evolution by natural selection. You know that if you're going to talk about that, you must take us to that primary source, which is the force behind nature. You got to take us there. And that force is invisible. And we're talking about communication. And check this out. Just like I asked you this question, since we was talking about consciousness, you tell me, what is it that gives us consciousness of everything? And if it is taken away from you, you won't be conscious of anything or nothing.
Jesus Christ.
No, that ain't what I'm talking about. So when you can't answer the questions, you're going to play it. No, because that ain't the answer.
All things.
That ain't the answer. That ain't the answer. Just say you don't. Just say
Yahweh Elohim.
Just say you don't know.
How about Buddha?
How about knowledge itself? Because how about the knowledge itself? How about the study being etymology, which is the study of words, words is what gives us consciousness. Because if you wouldn't have words, you wouldn't be conscious of anything. Words give us the ability to communicate. Please, are we talking about conscious, brother? It's the words that's giving us consciousness.
You have confused
me. It is the words. As you are sitting here articulating words to try to persuade someone about your information.
My baby isn't conscious before it learns to speak. Man, you are an idiot. Stop it.
Whatever. Because we're talking about language, bro. It is the language that's give us the ability to communicate.
My baby isn't aware that it's hungry, who its mama is, who its papa is, before it can speak. You sound like an idiot. Just stop. Your dish gallop has become ridiculous at this point. Language is a means of communication, but your awareness does not rely on language. Does it?
Stop that.
So that means I have 4 times the awareness. That means I have 4 times the awareness. This argument is silly. Please stop. The conversation.
This is the toughest environment to be in.
And you sound silly. So that means my baby has no awareness prior to its ability.
Do you know where you at? This is the toughest environment to be in.
Stop it, Cedric.
Do you know where you at? This is the toughest environment to be in. Do you know where you at? This is the toughest environment to be in. Do you know where you at?
It's amazing.
This is the toughest environment to be in. Do you know where you at? This is the toughest environment to be in. Do you know where you at? This ain't the minor leagues. This is the toughest environment to be in. Do you know where you at? This ain't the minor leagues. This is the toughest environment to be in.
All right, we're gonna move on over to my man Judah. Judah, what it is? Go ahead, brother. You got the call.
Thank you. To the young brother, Golden Saw. Listen, brother, don't be put off by the freestyling because there's one rapper that said they lie to you and make it sound fly to you. Never fall for that, brother. Always remember this: things start inward first before they manifest outward. The brother Cedric on the bottom sat here and told you a big-faced gorilla lie and start talking about DNA and all this. Listen, bro, that's outward. Who studies the created thing? You're supposed to study the creator. So what these guys is bugged out of their skull. Look, he's laughing because he just got his head knocked off. Right? Psychology is the highest science. What's the point of studying DNA and also whatever? First off, everything starts here. When let me tell you something, young man. When your father had relations with your mama, he gave her his strength. You were born. It started from your daddy's mind first. Right? What's the point of studying something that came afterwards? You don't put the cart before the horse, right? Cedric, brother, you just got knocked out again, bro, with that false. Hold on, let me read something real quick for you, brother. For anyone out there too that likes the low-hanging fruit, that's all right. Judah will keep knocking your goddamn head off.
What you reading, brother?
What you reading, Andrew? Watch this.
Judah, what you reading?
Hold on. I want to show you this so y'all can't say this is pseudoscience.
Now, what book you got? Just curious.
Hold on.
Well, it's a book.
This is called Noetic Sciences. Hold on.
Noetic
by Dean Radler. Noetic Sciences. The Noetic Universe. Dean Radler.
Right. What do that mean? Noetic. What do that mean?
What that mean?
It means intellectual or thinking. It's like psychology. Intellect. It's basically what it stands for, right? Don't watch this. Just to show his credentials, to show he's not a pseudoscientist. Dan Radin is a senior scientist at the Institute of Noetic Sciences, founder of the Consciousness Research Laboratory at the University of
Spell it for me. N-O what?
Noetic. Somebody's like, everything about Judah is pseudo. Like I said, this guy here is a senior scientist at the Institute of Noetic Sciences at the University of Las Vegas. He has held appointments at Princeton University, the University of Edinburgh, and several Silicon Valley think tanks, and has produced cutting-edge parapsychological research for AT&T, Contel, SRI International, and the U.S. government. So Judah's not coming with pseudoscience. Judah's going to come with that real. Just real quick, I can try to be long-winded. Remember this, young brother, Golden Saw. It starts here first. Do you know that scientists, who these guys say they believe in, but they really don't, right? Because let me tell you something real quick, too. Let me read this real quick, too. I'm sorry to be long-winded. I just want to tell the little brother, young brother, something real quick. Watch this. If you get this book, it says science. Science may be defined as a well-accepted body of facts and a method of obtaining those facts. Scientists are quick to disagree, however, over what well-accepted means, what fact means, what methods mean, what means mean, and even sometimes what and means. As a result, the definition of science depends largely on who you talk to, right? So scientists are not even in agreement with each other. It's just like, just start going into denialship. They deny each other's research and things like that. Now, real quick, I ain't trying to be long-winded.
How you spell it? How you spell that book again? Spell that book.
I'm sorry. The Noetic Universe. I mean, you can find these.
How do you spell it?
Noetic.
So your book starts by creating a red herring, trying to undermine the foundation of science, and then builds on its conjecture. So off the bat, your book starts with a reasoning flaw. Go right ahead.
All right. So now I'm about to this guy because he's not on my level. This guy is a scientist. Cedric, I never heard of this dude. Okay? Never. Okay? Now remember this, young brother. It starts here first. Do you know scientists? I ain't going to be long with it. I'm going to give you a small example that these guys don't think about. You know what a snowflake is, brother?
No, explain it to me.
You don't know what a snowflake is?
Yeah, that fall from the sky. But I was thinking on a higher level. I thought you was about to say something deep. So I was like, no, explain it to me. But
okay.
But yeah, I know what
he was thinking about the movie Snowfall.
Anyway, I don't think he's even interested in it. Don't waste your time. He's trying to follow whoever is the coolest. So that's what I get from him.
Well, I'm trying to like tell the brothers, like, brother, just because they sound good, don't mean
Can I say something? Can I say something real quick?
Why let me finish, brother. Let me finish. I'll be dying. Trying to be long-winded. Brother, just because it sounds good, don't make it right. These dudes are dealing with secondary and not primary. The mind is first. Real quick. These guys, Cedric said there is no scientific evidence. The test determined that's a lie. Do you know scientists can measure your brain waves like beta, gamma, alpha, theta, delta? They measure your brain waves due to like, your mystical thought, which is like inward. Your brain waves are firing off of gamma waves. They measure them by millihertz, gigahertz, so forth and so on, right? You study that, right? So that's what I'm saying, young brother. Just because it sounds good, don't make it right. These dudes don't believe in the Most High.
Let him finish. Cedric, let him finish.
Yeah, listen, these guys are so just adamant about there not being a creator that when you just get them a simple question, sir, what's the source of the brain's function? You're going to get a whole bunch of freestyling and Charlie Clipping. Why? Because they don't want to say the Most High, because you get trapped. So when this is what you have to do. You have to get him in a corner, let him think he's going somewhere, hit him with a left hook, and when you try to hit him with a right hook to his jaw, trust me, he's going to run away. Why? Because they're not studying psychology, which is the highest science. They're studying, the DNA and the bro, stop. Don't ever pick up the low-hanging fruit, brother. Get the apple that's way up top. All praises to Yahweh God.
What are you trying to convince anybody? We just having kind of like.
All right. Hold on. Everybody hold on. Lex, are you still there, Lex? Lex, are you still there?
Yeah, you had me in the back.
Oh, I ain't even know it. Damn, man. You should have hit my phone. Yes, go ahead, Lex. You got the floor.
I want to make a comment real quick.
All right, hold on. Let the young brother go. Go ahead, go.
I just want to say, Nepal, can you please not tell somebody that I'm talking to stop talking to me because of what you feel like. Like I hate when people do that. Like I'm really listening to what Judah is saying. I'm really listening to what he's saying to me, and you're just gonna come out of nowhere and say you should just move on. Don't.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. I apologize. I apologize. I'm sorry.
Don't do that because
I'm sorry it hurt your feelings. I'm sorry it hurt your feelings.
Yeah, it did hurt my feelings. Yeah, go ahead.
And I apologize for that.
At least I'm honest about it.
Yeah, I'm sorry to hurt your feelings.
All right, go ahead.
Yeah, so brother came in and said, don't listen to the pseudos. They show no sources. And listen to Cedric say abiogenesis, which was the most pseudo philosophies they had to throw away because they used to try to say that lightning struck water and that somehow formed the organization. But one thing I want to add is the brain is a tool of expression. To add on to kind of what Nepal was saying, right? The better the mechanism, the more can be expressed through it. So when you talk about brain damage and stuff like that, the consciousness doesn't stop. The mechanism on which is expressed. Just like if you look at your screen right now, some of you have 4K, some of you have, 1080p. It's the same energy coming in, but if you got 4K, that means you just got a better mechanism to express what's trying to be expressed. Same thing with the brain. The brain is functioning on 5 senses, basically. Touch, smell. It's in taking information, processing it, and kicking it out to you. It is not consciousness. It is a conduit for consciousness. The second thing is, the brother, I want to ask, Cedric mentioned something called methodological natural. What was it, Cedric?
Methodological naturalism, the foundation of science.
And that means that if you can't measure or weigh it, then you got to discard it, right?
No, it says we do not make any claims for or against God or any form of supernatural agency.
All right, great. Now, earlier today, when I brought up the double split experiment, you said it was the expectation that caused the change in the experiment, but you also admitted,
the process of measuring, the process
of measuring. I got you. Now, you said atoms. Now you said that photons exist in two states: the wave and the particle, right?
I said the double slit experiment illustrated that photons
Brother,
had
is there a wave
dual
and a particle? All right, is there a wave and a particle state of matter in science?
Photons operate as both a wave and a particle.
All right, I don't know why you're trying to prolong this. Okay, so the wave, right? So according to methodological natural science, how much does the wave state weigh? How big is it, and how do we measure it?
It depends on the frequency you're measuring whatever at.
All right. Stop, brother. Just stop. So this is the reason why I asked him that question, y'all, because I want to show y'all that y'all are listening to people who can fool you with scientific jargon. The brother, when I asked the brother how much does a wave, they don't have any way to measure the wave. They don't even know what the wave is. So scientifically speaking, to even talk about a wave
frequency, any frequency is measured in a wave.
You're interrupting now. You're interrupting. Everyone had a chance.
Have you ever seen an oscilloscope?
Brother,
Cedric, one mic, brother. You got to let him finish.
So when to even talk about a wave would be considered pseudo, because you can't measure or weigh. There's no instrument that can tell you how big the wave is or whatever. So when you get into talking about waves and particles, you have already entered the realm of pseudo. Now, I want to say this about pseudo to y'all. Pseudo is the only way that science grows. All right? So when you have what's called the scientific priesthood, just like you have in religion. These are the scientists that want to sell books, and they want to say this is the way it is because it becomes an industry. And then they print these stuffs in books, and a lot of times it becomes outdated. Or you have a medical industry that scientists back and are funded by, and they want to push certain ways to heal yourself or whatever. So that's called a scientific priesthood. But even when quantum physics came about, it was called pseudo, because classical physics was everything could be measured and weighed. Everything follows certain rules and laws. When quantum physics came along, it shook up the material world because it defied the laws of regular natural physics. So my question and I want y'all to really pay attention to the question I'm asking Cedric and all of them about what a wave is. Ask them, what is a wave? Tell me what it's made of. Tell me how you measure it. And tell me how big it is. If you can't measure it or weigh it or tell me its compounds, you are pseudo. So the basics of physical matter is so-called pseudo, according to Ankh and Cedric.
Exactly. Spooky location at a distance.
So
right?
we're again.
So just answer my question directly in terms of this. Without being dismissed, let me just clarify my question, Sana, because they're gonna dance. How big is a wave? How much does it weigh? What is the composition of it? And how do they measure it? Because if they're not doing that, that's no different from saying spirit, sir. Go ahead.
So now,
hold on, Cedric. Just let me say, Cedric, I don't know. Simple as that.
Exactly. Thank you for being honest.
Now let me elaborate. Let me elaborate, and it's going to lead into what I really want to get
the question first, though, Cedric.
However, we see here that Lex lacks basic fundamental comprehension. Let me answer the question. Your question is illustrated.
The link is in the thing, y'all.
Can you just tell him to answer my question?
Yes, I'm answering your question.
Before he starts insulting and trying
I'm going to say this.
How much does it weigh?
What kind of wave do you want me to measure?
A photon wave. How much does it weigh?
No, a photon behaves as a wave. What we're measuring is light, right?
All right.
And the light moves within frequencies and a spectrum at that. So you want to measure the frequency and the wave of specifically red light, blue light, ultraviolet light. Or do you want us to talk about how we measure sound waves? Or do you want us to talk about how we measure magnetic waves?
Come on, man. Yo, hold on. If you don't understand, Lex, ask the question one more time, brother.
Yeah, you see he's dancing, so that's why you gotta let me engage with him, because this is why they always try to silence me, because they know they can't run that with real intelligent people. He's dead. Now this is what I'm asking you, Cedric. I'm asking you. You talking about frequency. You don't know what a wave is, sir. So I'm asking you, tell the people what, when they say matter exists, it behaves as a wave.
Can we look it up?
I want
possible?
You, bro.
Can you please let the brother finish, yo?
I got the link,
don't know this material.
Right there, though.
Are y'all scared of Lex Vortex?
Yes, thank you.
Let him finish.
All right, Sarnetta, here's what I want the people to know, what I'm trying to explain. They claim in science, if you can't measure or weigh it, it's basically pseudo. There's nothing you can do with it, right? So I'm asking him, he admits to the wave. Now, when they say a wave state, and I'm gonna tell y'all right off the bat, if you look up what a wave is, you're not gonna get no real definition, because they don't know what the wave field, what they call the field of the wave is. So but maybe I'm wrong. So what I want Cedric to do, don't insult me. Don't try to pull the pseudo games, and just tell the people, how do you measure a wave? What is its properties, and what tools they measure, and how big it is? How far does it stretch across the universe? Or is it one thing? Is it three things? Tell us, Cedric.
He can't.
Again, I'm going to illustrate, and I'm going to speak very slowly. Wave is a function, down and up, and everything moves in a waveform, right? So we got electromagnetic waves, and you can measure them at different frequencies. You got sound waves, and you measure those with an oscilloscope. When you take light, it's broken up into its spectrum, and you can measure each particular wave of light in its spectrum, its specific frequency at different nanometers. You use a light spectrometer to do so. If you want to measure the wave that is emitted by elements, you put it in a AAS, atomic absorption spectrum, and you can measure the wave of sodium. You could measure the wave of any other element, gold, silver. So Lex, you simply do not understand what a wave is and how we use this concept to measure different frequencies at which things either electromagnetic waves, photonic waves, or sound waves. So Lex, you need to be a little bit more specific, or show that you have some degree of understanding when it comes to these subject matters.
Bro, the waves,
let him finish,
there's no individual waves for light. They come from the wave, sir. The wave from the field. There's no, when you look at a particle of light, right, it comes out. Hold on, wait a minute.
Cedric. Yo, Cedric, it's one mic, y'all.
Right. I'm going to show y'all his ignorance, and y'all got to stop being fooled. When you look at a light particle, I put it like this, a wave is like the ocean. That's what they call the field. He don't know what he's talking about. If something emerges out of the ocean, it's out of that one field. It's not like one. It's not like one speck of light.
I told you the link. You got slick with me.
Hold up.
And dove on this side. I was like trying to tell you that.
One light. So a spectrum of light doesn't just have its own wave. He doesn't know what he's talking about. He's lying. That's why I asked him, how do you measure what they call the wave field, and what tools do they use? We know about frequency, but you can't measure what they call the field, sir. It all comes out of one field.
So now you're moving the goalpost,
and here's the last, no, it's not moving the goalpost.
So we went from what is a wave to a field. You notice that you went from what is a wave. I explained you don't know what a wave is, and now you move to
he's dead.
Come on, man. Everybody, come on,
Right.
man.
Let me land my plane real quick.
Going over there, so come on, just go on. Eat it.
Hold on, let me just land my plane here.
I'm getting out.
And then when you talk
Judah,
about,
I got you faded on what you just read.
Hold
Judah.
on,
I'm
Lex.
I got you, Judah.
The Hebrews land planes. We park our car, brother.
All right, let me park the car real quick. Let me park the car before Ark tries to use propaganda. Not only that, right? When you talk about the physical world and you talk about subatomic particles, Cedric, do they appear and disappear in and out of existence?
Come on, Cedric.
Yes, they do, people. And that's why in quantum physics, what you call the things that make up matter, they don't even consider them real things. They're tangible. They're labeled as probabilities. And it's probability. Hold on. You're interrupting. It's one probability.
I'm interrupting because you're on a dish gallop.
Bro, out of infinite possibilities, when a wave collapses, they consider that one probability out of an infinite amount of things that could have happened. So that's a atom or what subatomic particles are just considered mathematical probabilities. These dudes don't know what they talking about, y'all. You can't deny consciousness and spirit. And that's why Cedric ran for me a couple of weeks on Chris's channel. Y'all go watch the show. Came in, no, we ain't gonna have this debate or whatever. And Sarnetta, please set this up, because I will end this in 1 hour. 1 hour. They will never be able to speak again in 1 hour. Now, go ahead.
So again, we see here a classic case of the Gish Gallop. When I prove that Lex doesn't know what he's talking about when he mentions a wave, and that wave is descriptive of different things, and you need to be very specific, I illustrated how you measure different things. Like an oscilloscope, you measure sound waves. With a photospectrometer, you measure light waves in its spectrum. You can break it up into different colors and measure even at a specific nanometers. I even talk how you measure the waves of elements. When he realized that he didn't have nowhere to go, he went over from atomic science into particles, subatomic particles, and start talking about fields. Made a whole bunch of claims which had nothing to do with his initial question. So this is a classic case of yet two other logical fallacies: the moving of the goalposts and not addressing the issue, and subsequently the Gish Gallop, because he goes on and on and on, making conjecture and concluding back to his initial hypothesis, which by the foundation of science is already dismissed. So we see that he comes full circle with his rhetoric, but cannot deal with what is actually in front of him. So now that we put that to rest, let me take this opportunity to go back to the vegetative versus the clinically dead brain.
All right, hold on. Cedric, I need you to go on over to the HOK. Unk started, and that's what we all going right now. Nepal, go ahead. You can say what you want to say right quick.
No,
everybody.
They want to say what he wanted to say about the PVS and then go, and then I can address it.
No, because I'm getting ready to leave, and I'm getting ready to end the show. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, Nepal, we can go over there and we can chop it up.
Hey, the link is in the chat. Young brother, I'm gonna bring you back where you have your own show. Go ahead. I'm gonna let you close out, my brother.
Peace to the family.
I need everybody to hit that link and take your ass on over to the HOK. Part 2 is going down. Judah, go on over there, Judah.
I'm not going over there.
All right, okay.
Salute, young bro. You smart, bro.
I'm not.
Hey, yo, Sarnetta, will you set up a discussion between me and Cedric?
Oh man, you want to do that?
Yeah. And we also want to, we'll put some money up too.
Oh shit.
Because I want to, yo, bro, like it's ridiculous. I'm telling you, it's so ridiculous. These dudes are studying, like they're stuck in 1960. That's why they always talking about evolution and Darwinism. They're not even up on the latest science
Exactly.
They like them dudes is in 1960. They still dealing with Charles Darwin. Quantum physics has changed everything. They're not aware of the latest experiments.
No.
And I'm telling you, that's why when we had this debate, I'm telling y'all the pseudo killers are gonna have to change their name. And that's why I guarantee you, Sarnetta, watch it won't happen. Watch he make every excuse and try to say, oh, Lex is crazy, but he will not step in the ring with Lex Vortex on this subject. He tried to say just a week ago that belief did not affect biology. He didn't even know about epigenetics. Sir, they clowning out here, bro. These dudes are not the scientists that they say they are.
We're going to make it happen. I need everybody to make sure y'all get ahead and get that ticket. If y'all didn't get this ticket with Nepal Shadar and Christina Nick coming up, young brother Golden Saw, hit that link. Go on over there to the HOK. That's part 2.
Yeah, go over there and get archaic information.
Leave them, Nepal. Don't do that.
Why are you cutting me off?
Let them go get the information.
No, why are you stopping me from talking? Everybody else is talking.
Let's go, y'all. All right, hit that link. Let's go right over.
You're absolutely right. Lex Vortex is absolutely right. That's archaic information. Everybody is saying, I'm not in my feelings, but I stopped Judah. When I saw that, when I put that basic article up, Lex got it, Judah got it. They're not caught up on cutting edge science. They definitely don't know about quantum theory. I mean, you talking to him about waves, and he didn't even know that you were talking about quantum physics. He didn't know that. Or he would have said, oh, you're discussing quantum physics with me, Lex? Okay. He just he went and quickly Googled, and I love Cedric, but he quickly Googled. That's why he's like, a wave goes up and down. That was something he found on real quick. But I'm not in my feelings, young man. If you want to find out about quantum physics and real science, especially as a believer in God, you better look at me, Lex Vortex. And I don't know if Lex is saying forget about me. But
Lex is the demonic God.
No, I'm saying you can't look at. You don't want to look at. You don't want to look at Ankh. I love Ankh. He is the God.
Can I get your number? Can Sonetta send me your numbers or something?
I would say, young brother. I would say
these panels.
I would say the best teacher you would want to learn and study from would be Nepal Shadar.
Oh, all right. Don't say that. Don't make Lex get in his feelings. Lex and Judah know about the science.
Stop. Lex don't believe in God. He don't believe in the God of the Bible. I mean, the God of the Bible. That's why I said you. Hey, Golden Saw, you'll see. All of these Hebrews, they're afraid to debate Nepal too. We got Zoriac. He won't step in that ring. There's a lot of Hebrews that won't debate Nepal. That's why Christina Nick stepped up. You see?
So you're telling me Captain Tazariak ran from a woman?
Yeah, because what he ain't run. What he'll say is, "Oh, we don't."
All that stuff that they talk about women on Clubhouse.
No, listen, brother. What he'll say is, "We don't debate women." That's running to me. That's running
to me too. That's running to me too.
Yeah, because what you're saying that they are intellectually, they're not intellectually qualified to challenge my mental. That's crazy.
That's BS.
So yeah, I would say, and I'm gonna let y'all two spar probably tomorrow if you got time and y'all see.
No, I want to talk to you about him. He's you're a very for you to the way you were the other night. You're a formidable debater. I don't know if everybody on here saw him, but he's a very strong debater. I didn't really, when I was saying I don't want to hurt your feelings, this is the toughest environment. But when I heard you just got to do your own research and watch. I know Lex hates me, but I say Lex is one of the greatest teachers too. He's not my teacher. He keeps on saying he is, but he's one of the greatest teachers. He could really give you a lot of information, and he's dipped into some of my information as well. So, I'll be looking at his channel sometime and just saying, wow, I'm so proud of Lex. He's doing so well.
Yeah, he's so still.
I want to learn from all y'all, but
Judah too. Yeah,
I want
and Ankh and Cedric, but
I want to get Judah information. I want to check out those books that he's reading. I want to check out those books, Judah.
You can learn from everybody. Actually, they could call me pseudo if they want. They could say I'm in my feelings, but you know what you do here in this. This is like a university. You get to see every single person put their information out, and you go back in the videos, and you just go fact check, and then you spit out the bones, or keep the bones on the side for bone broth later. So everybody, at the end of the day, I love it here because everybody gets to get up here and put their information out. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, so I'm not looking in the chat. I like to go in the chat sometimes and just start timing people out when I see them talking shit about.
You know what I do? But I wish the timeout thing was like 10 damn minutes. They need to be timed out for 10 minutes. Yeah, because that'll make them stop.
No, let me tell you how you do it.
Hold on. That'll make them stop putting all kind of dumb stuff in the chat because they wouldn't want to be timed out for 10 minutes. So, yeah, we got to write to YouTube.
You just keep on hitting it. You just keep hitting it, and it'll keep doing 3 minutes, and then you pile it up.
Some of them do 5 minutes. I see you get timed out for 5 minutes, Nepal.
How?
I don't. That's what I'm looking. I'm like, yo, how the hell this channel do that? I seen it. Have anybody else seen that, y'all? I know I'm not the only one that's seen that.
They probably said it like that.
They probably said it like that.
Yeah, I got a question. I don't block people. But excuse me, Sa. I don't block Golden Sa. I don't block people. I do time you out. If I just happen to see you, it's like I'm like the lion and you one of the gazelles. If I see you talking ish on me, even though you say I'm in my feelings, it feels good to time you out when I see you talking shit about me. So it's great. I love it. No, I love everybody. I'm sorry. I won't time anybody.
No, we out of here. I'm going over there.
Peace, Golden Song.
I'm going over there, man. Peace, y'all.
You going over there?
Me?
Yes, I'm going over there. Yeah, you too. Go over there.
All right,
I'm going over there right now.
All right, peace.
Y'all.
Go ahead and end the stream then.
I am. You know, I got to end it off with a sound bite from.
Do the toughest environment song.
Oh, do that one.
Yeah. Yeah, that was good.
Yeah, y'all be wilding, man. Y'all gotta stop, man. Getting caught up in y'all emotions and all that.
I know people are starting to hate me. Let me talk to y'all with my spoon. I'm gonna sing a song to them.
No, not tonight.
I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. I do that on my channel though.
Bruh,
listen.
Do you know where you at? This ain't the minor leagues. This is the toughest environment to be in.
Who that you just say that's on TV? Big dog be the voice of the streets. Why they stop the violence? Show the kids how you say that's not the problem. Yeah, we gon' debate after that. What wait? Teach these brothers that they kings, maybe they won't have to dream. It's a new day, a new era. Time to fall in love with that black that you see up in that mirror, nigga. Peace and love, unity and power. But sit your ass down is for the scholars. Minute after minute, hour after hour. Let me shout out my Yahweh. You can shout out what you lean on. We going live, bring the screen on. Grab a seat, get this knowledge when the team on. Better pay attention before you end up in detention. Let me finish who it be. Who it be inside that a TV.
Black peace, black love, black power.
Inside that a TV.
My man lyrics is nice. I like his shit.
He's awesome.
His lyrics is crazy. I love it.
Oh my gosh, he's smooth. I like it. I like the other one though. I like the other one better.
Now you see.
Yeah, on side nigga, I don't hate you, black man. I just hate you because you hate me. And I ain't did you nothing, but you looking all shady. Maybe it's Mercedes or that Beamer in the driveway. Maybe I can show you how to get that push you sideways. Tune in on that YouTube side, nigga TV. Yeah, we cooking in the kitchen, but there's no pig feet. I can give you a million years, but you can't beat me. You should try to be yourself. We can show you all the steps. What's your name? What you calling for? Who won't lie? Open up what you calling for. What's on your mind? Dig up in that bag and drop a jewel for your people. Exposing all evil. On side that TV. Side that TV. We can reach the world of power. Side that TV. If we each show up what's up beside that TV. Now you see. Yeah, on side that TV.
Do we know where you at? This ain't the minor leagues. This is the toughest environment to be in.
Seti made a statement and he said that he don't believe in the Bible because the Bible is an anti-African book. And he was absolutely correct.
Do you know where you at? This is the toughest environment to be in.
No, you apostle.
No, that's on the record. That's
Satan,
on the record.
The angel Satan has no power over the Most High. It says that there are spirits created for vengeance. Meaning it ain't just Satan that come down here. It ain't just Satan that come down here. It ain't just Satan that come down here. Any spirit the Lord choose to come down here and send an earthquake, to send a tsunami, to send pestilence, to send destruction. But they please the Most High every time they do it.
I'm to set the stage with the lights off. Let the little nigga breathe to the fight's lost. You ain't never like the room with the bright sauce. Hail Mary, they despise what the light brought. Let them roach niggas bleed if they can't see. Side near the TV, what you can't be. They say that murder on my mind, now they can't breathe. Take a picture of the crew, that's your last peep. Oh, and need me your love, yeah, that's just me. Keep them jumping like some frogs, so they might be leave when the sun sets. And they don't really wanna bleed from the gunplay. And like mine, niggas smoking weed on the one-way street, nigga. Yeah, we see we outside with it. Pull up to the base like we might be with it on guard. Side these niggas like bullshit and they fraud. Let me chop them down with the sword. Walk them down like they live bars. This the toughest you gon' be in, we too hard. And you don't really want that smoke, my G. With B-side in a TV. This the toughest environment, the toughest environment, the toughest environment to be in, toughest environment, the toughest environment, the toughest environment to be in, toughest environment, the toughest environment, the toughest environment to be in, toughest environment, the toughest environment, the toughest environment to be in, toughest environment, the toughest environment, the toughest environment to be in, toughest environment, the toughest environment, the toughest environment to be in. Keep that off your lip before you get flipped. We got sources over here, we don't just spit. Too many bosses over here, y'all just legit. Put them niggas in the game, let them get real. Don't even step unless you come in with that scholarship. That economic tip, gotta make a dollar flip. And I might be next, I don't give a damn, a truth rolling with me, so I'm feeling like the son of man. Too many gon' hate, gotta make a stand. I'm just trying to duck the lake, you don't understand. Read them when I greet them, that's my best plan. Head first shit, I'm just saying. Nigga meet me in LA, or you just playing. Too many be fake what the base saying. So I tell them they don't want no smoke before they end up in the newspaper next day. Smoke. This the toughest environment, the toughest environment, the toughest environment to be in. Toughest environment, the toughest environment, the toughest environment to be in. Toughest environment, the toughest environment, the toughest environment to be in. Toughest environment, the toughest environment, the toughest environment to be in. The toughest environment, the toughest environment, the toughest environment to be in. Toughest environment, the toughest environment, the toughest environment to be in. Toughest environment, the toughest environment, the toughest environment to be in. Toughest environment, the toughest environment, the toughest environment to be in. And this is it right here. The toughest you gon' ever be in.
Yeah.
You wasn't conscious before us. Y'all niggas was asleep. We woke the sleeping giant. We did it. Side dinner TV. So stay your ass in your little box. Where you feel safe. Cause it's motherfucking monsters over here. Real monsters.
Peace and Pan-Africanism. It's your brother Herman Smalls in the toughest environment you can be in.
The link is in the chat.